Just park the bus, stop the attack. Will the hand of God put your header back on track? Football is back, Jack. Mbappe's flying through the air. Ronaldo's here for one last prayer. Will Messi come out to play? Or is it victory for the USA? It's corner kicks when the box is packed. That's how you know that football is back, Jack. Let me hear you say, football is back, Jack. The time is here, open the gates. The long wait is over, so we'll yell, let's go States. No need to back down, just strike the ball, start the attack. If you say this game's the best, I'll say it's a gag. Football is back, Jack. Football is back, Jack. Football is back. Football is back, Jack.
Let me tell you something. I've been wrapped up in this World Cup. I stayed up. I watched all the games yesterday. I could confirm. Colombia, great fans.
I told you. I haven't been an expert on all things soccer. I mean, I can't believe that Jude Bellingham has returned to the pitch with the form of 2 years ago. But Harry Kane and the superstars being great at the most beautiful game, and Ronaldo, like right off the bat. And, you're a problem. Ronaldo, you star.
He stinks.
Well, but he stinks so much that you got to get him off the field. You might win it without him, but you sure as shit aren't going to win it with him because he hasn't scored an important goal since 2021. And it wasn't that long ago, Zaz. Like when we talk about these GOAT conversations, it's amazing to look back and be like, yeah, about 7-8 years ago, we were saying Messi wasn't going to be it, and Ronaldo was the best player in the world.
Mike, you'll have to help me here. Because Ronaldo has not scored in his last 5 World Cup matches, in his last 10 international appearances. Is Ronaldo's last international goal the one where it may have hit like a hair on his head and he tried to take credit for the goal? Remember that? Was that his last goal?
I have to look it up. You may be right.
He tried to take credit for a goal that was not his.
The Ronaldo storyline, this is a storyline that transcends. Obviously, he's a huge personality, one of the biggest superstars in the history of sports on this planet, right? And he's 41 years old, and he's always going to be tethered to the hip of Messi. I kind of felt like Messi put that debate to rest with his performance in the last World Cup.
But he was behind. Messi was behind before that, Mike. We spent a couple of years. It wasn't. We were not saying Messi was the best player in the world or ever.
Well,
we weren't even saying he was certainly the best player of his time when next to the statuesque guy who's pretty and isn't frumpy and is somebody who looked more like what soccer wants to look like.
Well, it was a hotly contested debate between the two of them. And now Messi's conversation is with Maradona and Pele. And it's, a little sad, I feel like. And look, I know I'm not trying to turn this into a Ronaldo-Messi thing. I like both. And I think that we should all feel privileged that we lived in the era where they're both doing this. And it should be noted, Ronaldo's older
41,
than Messi.
41,
yeah,
3 years older.
It's tough. However, Ronaldo at that age was already showing signs of falling off, and he had the whole thing with Manchester United. I want to talk about what his options are here for this World Cup because Portugal is absolutely loaded. And headed into the tournament, I like them to win the championship, provided that Ronaldo could fit in. And Dan, he looked like a beer league player that was told, you're playing for the national team, figure it out.
Mike, I can't believe that one game into this thing, you're getting the gold of, let's talk about storylines with the legend. You're going to have to get him off the field if you want to win, as all the other stars, all the other worldwide guys, Harry Kane, like everyone comes out right at the start. Yeah. No one's screwing around anymore. And also, The stakes are so high that your country might fire its manager if it loses one game and then bring in the most handsome devil that there has ever been in the history of soccer.
That's right. Hervé Renard is back in our lives. That should be the number one talking point from the World Cup here for us instead of Ronaldo. But
I like that they fired him after one game. That means you're all in.
Yeah.
Yeah, your country's telling you, well, we're in this to win it.
Yeah, Tunisia had one of the more puzzling performances of the opening round of matches because they don't concede. Now, you could pick apart the fact that they really got lucky in qualification, but they were supposed to be this stout defensive team, and they let in 1 billion goals against Sweden. And so a man who's a bit of a football vagabond, Dan, he's been coaching men's and women's teams. It's Saudi Arabia, French women's team.
And what's his nationality?
Hervé Renard?
Yeah.
I believe he's
gorgeous.
French. Yeah, his
Yes,
nationality
yes.
is gorgeous.
Is Herv's, put it on the poll at Le Batard Show, is Herv's nationality gorgeous? Because I don't think, I question the video team in a number of different ways, and I don't want to exclude the audio audience here, but I don't believe that they went and chose the photos that were handsome enough, okay? I don't believe that they're doing this man justice. When he was introduced to us, okay, he was...
It has been a couple years.
But don't show me modern photos of him, please. He still looks wonderful for his age. He's exactly the guy you get if you're going to fire a coach after one game.
Whoa.
But I want the original. I saw photos of him.
This is the guy you're talking about, Dan?
No, the video team does not judge that very well, and attractive is very high on the list of what they don't judge well. Okay? Because they've done this poorly. They've put in front of me a man, it may be because they're playing with that AI still, that is not as attractive as the most beautiful man I've ever seen. When this man came into my life, he did so with a jawline. I was hypnotized. I looked into his eyes and could not stop staring.
That guy looks like Sean Penn.
Now. Yeah. I mean, he's a smoker. Most gorgeous people
Smoke
are.
show.
But yeah, Hervé Renard, who goes from tweeting about the World Cup back into our lives as Tunisia sacked their manager after one match, and Hervé
They're all
Renard,
in.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be. So hopefully they get back to their game. But let's go to the other handsome man in this conversation, Cristiano Ronaldo, for just a brief second more. Cristiano Ronaldo cost them the game. There was one moment in particular. First off, I thought Cristiano Ronaldo was going to come out super aggressive. Everybody did because of what happened the night before with all the stars performing so well. You're like, man, Cristiano Ronaldo's going to be bombing shots from 30 yards out.
Can I ask you something real quick? How has he performed like this past season in Saudi?
You know, he definitely showed signs, but the league isn't ultra competitive. He did end up winning a trophy, largely a disappointment. I think there was like a whole like rebellion against him by that supporter base briefly in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, we're doing the same thing here against Messi.
But like Messi too, people are quick to point to the level of competition in the league. And Ronaldo, he was on the national team list. You'd imagine he would be since he's still active and still scoring goals at a reasonably high clip for his club. But Ronaldo is one of the fastest attackers in the history of the game, and his speed is totally gone.
That's a problem.
So much so that he's cherry picking right now, and he's just constantly offside, and it's messing up the passing lanes for what is, I think, the best midfield in this tournament for Portugal. They have some really, really good players, and there was one really ugly moment late in that game. I know historically when we say, man, that's one of the worst striker performances ever, it's usually because a guy misses an opportunity right in front of the net, and you're like, oh, how do you miss that? Or he misses a pen. He didn't even put himself in the position to miss sitters. Like, he was just so out of position, so out of sorts. It looked like he had no knowledge of what the attacking plan was for Portugal.
This is a crazy conversation.
And late in that match, there's a dangerous cross played into the box. Cristiano Ronaldo is supposed to be going to the near post, and it's played beautifully for Bruno Fernandes. If that meets Bruno Fernandes' foot, it's a game-winning goal. Instead, Ronaldo drags his foot back to try to intercept the pass, and rather than have the team score the goal, Ronaldo was going to score the goal. So now the conversation is either Ronaldo looks himself in the mirror, which he does often, and says, you know, you're still super handsome, but we got to change our game up.
There's no way that happens.
I think he can be hugely impactful as a match-dependent sub. right? You have one of the greatest goal scorers in the history of the sport.
You'll never convince him to do that.
He's there. I think his legs aren't what they used to be, so if you bring him on in one of these knockout rounds as like an extra time sub, I think that there is a role where he can absolutely help his team, and I think his branding would really have a positive spin on it if he assumed this role player, leader type of role for Portugal. But right now, his ego may be getting in the way because he is quite literally, physically getting in the way.
Okay, but what you're saying, and this is why this is fascinating, and I do want to get to the celebration of the people who are great, and we have a bunch of Giannis developments that everybody wants to get to. That is the beautiful Ronaldo, the statue for Ronaldo, one of the worst pieces of art ever made. But one of the reasons what you're saying is patently ridiculous on whatever it is you imagine sports ego to be, okay? Melo wasn't going to the bench. Whatever you think sports ego is, I heard a coach yesterday who understands Ronaldo's place in the world, a manager, scared to say the wrong thing about I'm going to bench this person. It would be his ego who would have to choose it because no one's going to do it to him. They understand what that resume is, and they understand the insult in it. We're here still talking about Jaylen Brown. Should he be hurt or insulted? Yes, send Ronaldo to the bench during the World Cup. See if he's hurt or insulted with wherever ego is on Soccer Divas, and not just Soccer Divas, because the Soccer Divas can make the wide receivers look ridiculous when it comes to ego. The Soccer Divas, go ahead and do it with this one, the one who's pretty too. Like, see how that goes for you. The one who's an international superstar, handsome. Hey, would you like to go to the bench and not take it as insult that you're literally getting in the way? Do you want to look in the mirror in a way that's self-aware as opposed to vain?
The place where I would go, and I guess this, and look, maybe they've had these conversations and we're not privy to it. Like, that's totally possible. But how did they not know, the manager, all the people who run the team, how is there not at least an idea that this may be a thing? Can we take care of this before the first match at the World Cup? Because can you imagine, you start the World Cup and Ronaldo, okay, he's like, you can't do it now. Like, now it's a conversation the world is having. How did they not have any idea that this might be the case? Because guess what? We're one game in, and it's already an issue. Like, shouldn't they have known that maybe this is going to be a problem? And let's bring Ronaldo off the bench. Let's have this conversation now before everyone else sees it.
As difficult of a conversation as that is to have at this moment, it's even more difficult to have without that result under your belt, right? Now you have the evidence of him literally getting in the way. Dan, I'd say he was invisible yesterday, but he would have been better if he were actually invisible. He was quite literally getting in the way, and I think that entire team, and it needs to come from Ronaldo. He needs to be the leader there and say, guys, I don't have it like that. I can help this team in different ways. I think it would be a great redemption arc for the guy. I think everybody would be pulling for him. I think the moment where Cristiano comes in off the bench in a tie game or a game that they're trailing is going to be an all-time sports moment for him. And I hope that he realizes that because he is hurting the team right now, Dan.
It's funny that you say all of that. Plenty of time to talk about it. I wasn't listening, though. The reason I say it's funny, because it didn't sound like anyone was laughing. I wasn't listening to you at all because I was gazing into the eyes of Renard on my phone. And it's different.
Your personal stash?
Like, well, here's the thing, personal stash guy. I'm going to make you come in here and look at the photo I'm looking at.
You're going to come in there?
Yes. I'm going to ask him to come right in here. Yes. Come right in here.
Hey, yo.
Right here. And I want you to look at this and compare it to the video or the pictures that we have on the screen here of the video team's judgment on what I believe to be the most handsome man in the world and the real star of this World Cup. I do have to set up, though, wait for a second here, Chris, the fact that the NYPD has now shut down the New York City parade route way early, and we were going to go to Amin, and I'm not sure Amin's going to be able to get in because they're saying there's no more room at the Knicks parade. They are now already hours early turning people away. And we've sent Amin there, and I don't have any faith in his internet. I don't have any faith in Amin in general. I worry that the party is going to get to him, to his throat, and I don't trust his cell phone connection. But we're going to try to go to this parade, but we've already been locked out of that parade. So let's check in with Amin. Get me Amin from wherever it is he is. Because were you guys expecting this thing to be shut down 2 hours early?
I don't know. I feel like I kind of would expect that. Yeah, it's going to be an obscene amount of people there.
Okay, so the NYPD is saying that's it. It's closed. So we will find out shortly whether or not we can get in there, and we'll get to the Giannis stuff. Maybe we'll get some Giannis opinions from Amin at the parade if his internet works, which I do not trust. I have no faith in everything that's about to happen here or not happen. But Chris, put up on the screen now, video team, the picture of the beautiful Renard by your judgment, because you guys have no judgment when it comes to that's actually a beautiful one. Yeah. There weren't many ugly ones, but you guys,
we did it.
No, that is a beautiful one, like that, that where he looks like a scarecrow from Ukraine. Like,
I mean, they must have some hot-looking scarecrows in Ukraine.
Look,
Are you glad you brought me in here?
Yes, I'm going to tell you why, even though your breath smells like breakfast. Are you ready? I'm going to tell you why. You look at the best moments in life are shared, okay? I want you to love this man with me.
Show me.
So you come right in here.
I'm coming.
You come here.
Okay.
The dimples.
Your breath.
Oh, come on.
Performative.
His breath is not performative.
Oh, shush.
His breath is terrible. It's sausage links and eggs.
I did have an egg sandwich.
I can smell it. I can taste it. I can taste that egg sandwich. Look at Mike. Tony, you look.
I'm well versed in Renard.
No, but this picture, the picture I'm looking at.
If you show me Sean Penn, I'm going to be pissed.
The one I keep in my wallet. The one I keep in my wallet.
In your front pocket or your back pocket?
I'm gonna give this to the video team. Lewis, I'm sending this to you right now, and I want you to just put it in picture and tell me when it is that we're gonna go to it so I can watch the whole team gaze at what it is I'm talking about. This is the world's most beautiful man. You cannot fire a manager after one game in the World Cup unless it's to hire this man. The Giannis stuff. You heard yesterday it made Jeremy and Zaz insane. But Mike has not been here, and Mike, I believe, has claimed in the past to have invented Heat Twitter. Mike Ryan has been more critical of Pat Riley and the Empire Miami Heat than I'm going to say anybody in local media during Pat Riley's time, past or present. I do not believe that there has been a voice in this market, written or spoken, that has gone after Pat Riley because Pat Riley put the expectations in a place where, in 2010, Mike thinks, and Heat fans think, they deserve the greatest star every time, and they deserve to win all the time. Pat Riley, you have to live with those expectations. You made them. You agree with my assessment? You sure as shit have not been as hard.
No.
You reluctantly trade Bam in the middle of last season, and it causes you great pain. Who's second place to critical of the Heat in this town to Mike Ryan? And I'm dead serious. And how far away is second place?
Whoever is second place is going to be a distant second place. Like I'm not sure who it is, but I think you're right about
Billy.
I'm going to say Peter Vesey in the history of Pat Riley is the second loudest critic of Pat Riley things, and you have been very aggressive. And yesterday,
I don't think I've been very aggressive. I think I'm aggressive compared to you guys. And one thing that you omitted, Dan, is like, yes, I've been critical, but I've also been the most right about this team over the last few years. And another eye roll from Jeremy Taché. Jeremy, you've been the most wrong.
Well, but they have made two finals, and I want to stop diminishing that.
That's why I said the last few years. And yes, they were doubted. And that, quite honestly, might have been the worst thing that ever happened to this cult.
No,
worst thing ever.
Because you guys...
I hate going to the finals.
All right, we said immediately after they got waxed in the finals against Denver, the rest of the conference is elevating.
Close.
And you just got told pretty resoundingly that you don't have enough. We all knew that we needed a player better than Jimmy Butler. That was the aim. Instead, we end up jettisoning Jimmy Butler. We don't get a player better than Jimmy Butler. Now Bam's your best player, and you're constantly whiffing on getting a player to pair next to Bam. I think this is there's an interesting conversation here about their standards. We all know how difficult it is for them to trade. They don't want to have a trade hurt. But I think you look at the lay of the land, too. Guys, it's not just the whales that they're striking out on, because we know that they haven't had the assets compared to other people, and the Dame thing got screwy, in part because of how Miami approached that. Really impactful acquisitions that aren't superstar acquisitions in the last few years from the Toronto Raptors purge of an incredible roster in retrospect. Everyone was saying like that championship team was, it was Kawhi and a bunch of randos and Golden State got hurt. Go ahead and look at that championship roster. It's one of the most loaded championship teams ever.
Well, it's not that, but Siakam and Anunoby are a lot better than we thought they were.
Right. And Siakam last season proved it. He was a hugely valuable piece that got Indiana over the hump and into the finals. And now OG Anunoby was a brilliant two-way player and a huge piece in a championship-winning team.
The Heat went and got a guy from that Toronto roster. He just happened to be my least favorite Miami Heat player of all time, Kyle Lowry.
And Miami did kick the tires on those players. It was reported out there that Miami was kind of interested, but then they ultimately decided to keep their powder dry for a superstar. I think you could accurately say that's a bit of a misread, especially for a franchise that is so great at developing talent. Or what are you worried about in acquiring an OG Anunoby? You're giving up a lot of pieces. What about developing OG Anunoby when he is on your roster? Because I guarantee you right now, OG Anunoby has more value today than he did when the Knicks acquired him.
Yeah, I mean, like you say that they've struck out on getting some of these guys. There's a difference between them striking out and them choosing to go a different direction.
Prioritize a star.
Right.
Yeah, I'm saying that you could argue that's a misread. I don't want to stay there too much because I think that there's an interesting Giannis conversation.
Yeah.
You guys sounded like loons yesterday.
Okay, so I want to get into this, and I want to see if we can get out to Amin, and I want to continue to stare in the eyes of my beloved new coach. But before we get too far down the path on this, I don't believe if you had told me, even with the information we have now, hey, they got Anunoby and Siakam the last few years, but sorry, you can't get Giannis in 2026. I would have said, okay. I would have taken that deal. And I understand what you're saying. I also understand, as we've been talking about Jalen Brunson, when we say, hey, would we ever have found out how good he was if he had just stayed next to Luka the entire time? Right. Oh, look, we have found out how Kawhi actually had a couple of players who were good.
Right, but therein lies the fallacy. My contention is, you mentioned Siakam and OG. That's not an either-or. They viewed it as an either-or. Hey, let's prioritize the superstar. The Miami Heat could be in on Giannis, and they could use a piece like Siakam or OG Anunoby in that package. These are valuable assets.
Fair enough.
And they just decided to go in a different route. So it's one thing that I'm kind of seizing on, that it was under the radar. We always discuss them whiffing at the big names, right? But the internal misread on, no, OG's not worth it. Let's hold firm, when OG could have been a piece that helped you get those stars down the line.
The thing is, the idea for them to develop guys that they already had instead of giving away pieces for a guy that maybe would have been good, right? So they've developed so many guys through those years.
I get the debate. I'm very clearly playing the result here, but I'm saying
you're also playing the process, though. You are. Look, it's easy to play the result right now. Everyone agrees with the result. Pat Riley agrees with the result. You're also here criticizing the process because you're saying, correctly, just collect assets. It doesn't have to be either or.
Dan and Jeremy, since the finals loss to Denver, they have constantly misread their own talent level, the lay of the land inside their conference.
Since Deion Waiters and Hassan Whiteside were signed to extensions, they've been having more misreads than we're used to.
The thing that they did was believe in Tyler Hero. That was part of this, was they believed he was a better complementary piece to what was then Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo than OG Anunoby or Pascal Siakam would have been. Plus, he was younger, and so their belief was if you were going to be in this position now, who would have not only been a more valuable asset, but maybe turned himself into that third piece to a team that could have continued to compete for championships. And that was their read. He did become an all-star last year, and now here's where we sit.
So this is where these things get interesting on both process and result. Everybody's mad about the result. No one is satisfied with the result. Now, they did develop Tyler Hero into a one-time all-star. That is correct. They did acquire Norman Powell, who became an all-star. But the team's not good enough, and any conversation after that starts there. There is no question. They've fallen behind. 9 teams in the conference, younger, better, and it doesn't even matter if it's process or result. It's what's happened. So that's where we are, and we can make all sorts of assessments about that would be accurate and fair as criticisms. But there is new information coming out all around this, and the Jaylen Brown conversation continues to be interesting to me. So before I get to that, though, can we go out to, because I need to know to set up the show today, if Amin's going to get into this parade, because I thought Amin was going to be joining us from the parade, and I thought Jessica was going to join us from the parade, and I thought unhappy Sam Morrill, who didn't seem like much of a parade guy, would join us from the parade, and Mero would join us from the parade. But now we got the spotty Wi-Fi issue, I would assume, right? We've had internet problems all week, and now we're going to a really congested area. Do we have any confidence that if we go out to Amin, he's either as going to get in to the parade or have good Wi-Fi?
Well, do we have any the parade starts at 10. So is Amin on his way there now?
Seeing him
or
here.
Okay, so he's there already.
Okay, so he's
all right. So I don't know how it happened. We got through. I'll be honest with you. Sean's got a backpack that will get flagged anywhere, any security situation around the world. It looked like wires and timers and stuff. I was like, oh my God, I don't know him. She's just like, hey, just have him hold your backpack as you walk through. I was like, really? And we're in. And so if you look right there, Champions Way, Broadway, this is the Canyon of Heroes. This is the whole parade route. We've got about 3 hours before it starts, but you can see the crowd is already crazy. As I said earlier, there's a massive crowd waiting on the other side of that barricade. And when they get over here, I don't know how good of a shot we're going to get. You can hear people cheering and loud clapping and everything.
Okay.
No.
Oh, he's in. Okay, he's in. It's pixelated, and that's going to only get worse.
That was not terrible.
Well, it was okay as sound. I'm worried about this because it's probably not going to be good video if we keep getting pixelations. It's not yet crowded. It's crowded.
Maybe they're going to pump more Wi-Fi in as more people come.
Yeah, for sure.
Is that a real thing?
The plan now is just we're going to have him P&P when we have signal. He'll flag us down. If we're going to try to go to him, we're going to see how it goes with internet.
Yeah, I heard you say as we marched in, man, ESPN's coverage looks good. They don't have any internet issues. And I'm like, Chris, they have a production truck that's on site with a satellite. We got Sean McGill in a backpack.
He's got Ron McGill's kid, with a giant backpack.
We just slingshot Sean McGill up to New York.
Tony's looking. He doesn't like slingshot being made as
slingshot. I would have gotten jumped all over for that.
Would it be slingshot?
Slingshotted.
It's slingshotted?
Yeah, it's a difficult past tense. But
I think it's
slang
slingshot.
I've never
Sling
heard
shat.
it as
I think it's
slingshot.
slingshot.
It might be slang shat.
Yeah.
I can't stop staring at Coach.
Oh, Irvono?
Let's put up on the screen just so. And I'm sorry, audio audience. No, Lewis, please. The photo I sent you by text, because you keep choosing ugly ones, is the one I want. I want to put in front of the group. Right. Thank you. That's the one that's in my wallet.
Yeah, that looks like the Antichrist straight up, and I'd follow.
Wow.
You're gonna Zaslow. That is the most beautiful man there has been. I would follow him anywhere. A born leader. Look at that chin. An obvious ectomorph.
I mean, you act like you never seen a good-looking guy before.
He is right. We are a little breathy here. There's a lot to discuss. Messi hat tricks, Ronaldo, having a tailor-made sports discussion for you, and the Giannis thing, because you guys again sounded loony.
Okay,
The salt and pepper in the corners.
I mean, just beautiful. As we talk about Jaylen Brown, I want to give you the latest stuff. Okay, so Windhorse says on Get Up this morning, his information has been good. The word out of Boston is that Jaylen Brown has not been offered for anybody. That's the story the Celtics have, and they're sticking to it. Have the Celtics and Bucks talked? I believe that they have. From what I am told, the Bucks are yet to receive an offer they're willing to accept for Giannis, which is somewhat what happened at the trade deadline. I'm told they intend to trade him by the draft. I think it's possible they don't find a deal they like. Miami has been the team that's been most aggressive in trying to get him, but they have 7 or 8 different pieces they can trade, and none of them I consider super premium. I think the Bucks probably want all of them. And then Sam Amick says he believes the Heat are still in the lead for Giannis, but he doesn't think a deal is going to be done in time for the draft. He says, I'm legitimately starting to wonder if a deal goes down today. I've already made some calls this morning. It's the same old story. I don't think the Bucks are happy with what is coming their way. And then Jake Fisher says about the Celtics getting frustrated with everything that's happening with Giannis, we must acknowledge the undeniable rumbles in circulation that the Celtics, weary of incessant speculation about a Giannis to Boston deal featuring Jaylen Brown, are getting frustrated with the process. One source familiar with the matter insisted that all the Jaylen Brown to third team talk is premature. That's what credible people are reporting. Mike thinks Jaylen Brown is up for sale.
Yeah, I think he's on the table. And if he is indeed on the table, then I think Heat fans the world over need to concede that you don't have the nuts there. Boston has the nuts. Now, I will piece together something that I was hearing last week, which is the Miami Heat were talking to other teams about Tyler Hero. And I think the reason for that is I think Miami was told that Tyler Hero wasn't good enough, and so they started reaching out to teams to try to present something to Milwaukee that was more attractive than the hometown product, Tyler Hero. I have heard from well-placed people. This is secondhand information I have not independently verified, but I trust these people that are plugged in.
Just tell us who it was.
That Jaylen Brown is absolutely on the table. And trust me, I know Brian said the opposite, but the very first thing Milwaukee says when Boston calls them is, how do we get Jaylen Brown in this package? It would be a third team, though. It would absolutely be a third team. There's no scenario here in which Jaylen Brown ends up going to Milwaukee, given where they are, both geographically and right now the lay of the land in the East. They're a team that's looking to rebuild, and Jaylen Brown, who's already told you he liked how last year felt, he wants to be the focal point of a team that is competing.
Zaslow, given everything that we talked about yesterday, about who you believe and don't believe, and given how much I just generally talk about journalism, information, and facts, okay? I just read to you 3 people who are credible basketball people giving information that is different than what Mike thinks it's happening. It's the opposite of what Mike thinks is happening. Mike's information all over the place on a number of different subjects has had a lot of happen to know in it, but on the verifying of sources. I'm going to give you one example of like the stuff that journalists can have in the bag and not use because they haven't been able to get it verified solidly enough that they won't embarrass themselves. So I have heard and have no idea whether it's true because I don't have sources in Buffalo. So I would ask the people who are covering the Chargers right now and the Bills to ask this question because I don't have the sources to report as fact what is simply a rumor, and you don't want to get this stuff wrong inaccurately. That McDaniel, when he left here, wanted to go help McDermott, help Josh Allen, and be the offensive coordinator. But when they let go of McDermott, McDaniel was offered the Bills job and did not want the Bills job anymore because of what they'd done to his friend. It's a great story if it's true. I don't know if it's true, and I haven't been able to get a second source, so everything I just said, I can't confirm and is merely rumor. Like it's not... I have not been able to get the sourcing I need to report a story that I think would be pretty big in Buffalo if all of that happened. So I'm telling you all of that as preface to say, please, Buffalo and Chargers reporters, go ask the questions to find out if that's true because I don't know if it's true. But Mike's saying the opposite of what 3 credible people are saying. And what Mike's saying is true. If Jaylen Brown's available, they've got the better offer, no matter what happens after that.
Yeah, but you need a third team to facilitate the trade, and that's the issue.
They
right?
would have it. They would have it.
And how would that be an issue? Like, there's
reporting.
plenty of teams that would take Jaylen Brown.
There
That's
is.
not an issue.
And you have to deny, given the star power of Jaylen Brown and the uncertainty there, like the smart play here for all the people involved, if they want this deal to go through, is don't talk to anybody. Deny deny. I will provide a little bit more context to give this a little bit more juice. Remember when I was saying the Marcus Freeman stuff and that he was talking to the New York Giants? Very reputable people were swearing up and down that meeting did not happen. Turns out I was right about that. I was hearing right. This came from the same person that was pretty plugged in there. Well, everybody was saying that was inaccurate. This person ended up being right. So I think that you guys have to open the door up to the possibility that Jaylen Brown is on the table. I guarantee you they have at least had conversations about Jaylen Brown. And Jaylen Brown and his team have been made aware of the teams that they are discussing. Other teams are in this mix as well. I don't know how long this can go. I imagine it'll develop quickly. You mentioned Jake Fisher. Jake Fisher also reported recently that the Pistons have interest in Tyler Hero. Why? Why would Tyler Hero be on the table for Detroit? I think that gives credence to Miami being told something about their offer didn't quite sit right. News changed, and they started having conversations. I don't know who engaged who, but people are kicking the tires on Tyler Hero, and they were talking to other teams about maybe getting more for Tyler Hero to sweeten their offer.
In regards to the Heat offer and the Heat fans and all that stuff, you can't play, if you got the nuts, you can't play your hand underneath the table and be like, no, Jaylen Brown's not available except for a couple of teams that I'm trying to play under the table. When he gets put on the table is when everybody should
the nuts are always under the table. They're always under the table. They're never on the table.
But
they're always under the table.
There is no foreseeable path
That's Chauncey.
for Miami to outbid whatever Boston machinations of that deal looks like with Jaylen Brown.
Not with their own pieces. Maybe if someone wants Khalil Ware, maybe if someone else has something Boston or something else that Milwaukee wants. But let me
Khalil Ware, no one's as good as Jaylen Brown. No one in this package. In fact, I think Boston is perhaps a little crazy here because if they're considering trading a superstar for Giannis, number one, I think I'd rather have Jaylen Brown than Giannis. But number two, I think you're picking the wrong guy. If you're willing to ship out Jaylen Brown because he's unhappy, I get that. Your other star,
slow down.
Your other star is coming off an Achilles injury.
Slow down.
Jaylen Brown was the Finals MVP.
You didn't just do that.
I don't know why there isn't a Tatum conversation here.
You didn't slow down. I asked you to slow down. You didn't slow down.
No,
you didn't slow down.
He sped up.
I asked you to slow down. You sped right up.
I think this whole thing is ridiculous. And it's clear that Jaylen Brown is unhappy because he's been acting like a diva wide receiver a little bit on social media. And look, you have the disgruntled superstar in the history of the NBA. That usually means it's the end of the road. So I get it. The fact that he's disgruntled is a bit of a tiebreaker if you have it as a tie between Tatum and Brown. But maybe you're backing the wrong horse there.
Says he didn't slow down. He sped up. Guys, can you help me rein him in? He's been off for 3 days. And come on. Guys, help me.
It was his local hour, Dan.
Guys, both of you. Please.
It was Hervin
The World Cup is happening right now. I'm distracted by the beautiful coach.
We'll tell you how dildos helped a man escape from alligator Alcatraz and talk with the Florida Democratic candidate caught up in a scandal that led to an election fraud complaint, forcing him to drop out of a high-profile congressional race. All new because Miami.
Every single Thursday on the Dan Le Batard Show, you can watch a new episode of The Pitch Clock. So go to the Le Batard Show YouTube, check out the playlist tab, and go watch every single episode we've ever made, and you could play trivia with us. This week, we have a brand new game between Chris Cody and myself. Ethan, as always, in charge of it, and I'm trying to get hot in this one. But speaking of getting hot, the Miami Marlins are one of the best teams in the month of June, and so I brought in one of my very best friends, fellow Marlins broadcaster Kelly Sacco. She is as good as it gets in baseball media, and she is here to explain why Olo, as Greg Cody would call him, Otto Lopez, deserves to be an all-star. Plus, what's made the Marlins tick, what's allowed them to turn things around, who some of the unsung heroes are. All that and more on this week's episode of The Pitch Clock, only on the Dan Le Batard Show.
This week on Mystery Crate, I give you the worst piece of sushi that has ever been created. And a lot of people say no, I say yes. Plus, a lot of good stuff with the World Cup that Fuentes went to Game 1. We also have our book reports / PowerPoint slides / fun fact thing that we were given last second.
Yeah, I learned of that right before this.
What do you mean no?
No, it was last week.
Okay, it was last second.
It was a little last second.
It was last second,
But
Rose.
you could see the disparity in our graphic design skills. I'm really impressed with my own. If I'm going to be honest with myself, we also talk about what TV shows we think each person in this room could be a newly introduced character into.
Rose, we also
that
try
the right
what kind of
grammar?
chips?
I think so.
Jew chips.
So tune in
Two
for
mystery crates.
Jew chips.
Jew chips. Delicious.
Chris Cody and Roy revealed this to me. And Roy, I don't know the context of what it is that you guys were talking about that revealed this about Chris Cody.
Yeah, Chris asked me what the sound from the first down for the Dolphins games were. And I said
it's just a noise I've made throughout my entire life. It's just like one, like I just did it. Hoo-wah!
Yeah.
And to me, that is that's another Miami Dolphins first down.
Well, let's find out.
Hoo-wah!
Let's find out if your dad knows, because he's not a real moviegoer. Instead of impersonating the sound, do you have the actual sound? Greg Cody, do you know who's making this sound?
Hoo-ah!
I do.
Clark Gable. Come on.
It's the famous actor.
Rock Hudson.
Oh, this is great. He doesn't know it.
No, it's the famous actor. And I got to pin his name down because I don't think
You should be able to say this immediately.
I don't think it's Robert De Niro.
Hoo-ah!
But I think it's
in the neighborhood.
In the neighborhood. Give me a second.
Hoo-ah!
Robert De Niro.
Humphrey
Al Pacino.
Hoo-ah!
Hey, there you go.
If someone said that in his headphones, you're fired.
Now,
No,
what movie?
nobody said
What
that.
movie?
It's APEC. What movie?
Streetcar Named Desire.
You ain't you. No,
Hoo-ah!
you're not man enough to know the truth. Something like
No.
That's a few
That's
good
the one I
men,
bought.
and that's a few
brutal.
good men.
Good answer. Good answer.
And it's
That
not,
is
you're not
brutal.
man enough to know the truth. I
You
can't.
can't handle the truth.
Don't know.
That's
Don't know?
it's a different
Damn it.
movie.
Seriously?
Pacino was not
Told me
in
you're
it.
not man enough to know the truth.
That was originally a line. Nicholson ad-libbed. They
Put
kept
it on the poll
that
at
was Nicholson.
Lebatard Show. Was Pacino in A Few Good Men?
Hoo-ah!
Was a blind Pacino?
Okay, who did he say? Who
Dad
said
on a
hoo-ah
hot
in
tin
what
roof.
movie?
Let's keep going. Let's see how long it takes you to get.
Play it again.
I think
Hoo-ah!
did he win an Oscar? I think
Yes.
he won an Oscar
Yes, he
for
won
this.
Best Actor.
Yes.
Hoo-ah!
Bull Durham.
No.
Good answer. Good answer.
Put it on the
Raging
poll.
Bull. Raging
Put it on
Bull.
the poll.
Raging
No.
It's a bull movie.
Just naming De Niro movies.
Red Bull. I don't know.
Put it on the poll. Was a blind Pacino in Bull Durham?
Chicago Bull.
Hoo-ah!
And put it on the poll as well. Was a blind Pacino in Raging Bull?
Hoo-ah!
First of all, it's a really random thing to have stick in a Dolphins.
I say it all the time.
No, but it's been for 30 years. That movie's 30 years old. I don't want to tell him what the movie is. Keep guessing, Greg. Keep trying to guess what the Al Pacino movie. How many Oscars has Pacino won? Because he
A Few Good Men.
Hoo-ah!
you already guessed that, and we already told you that it's not A Few Good Men.
Okay.
And you're not man enough to handle the truth.
Right. Okay.
Classic line.
It's got a military theme to it. I just can't come up with a
It's
name.
not a military theme, but I think he's a former military guy.
Okay,
He was a colonel.
there you go.
Patton.
Colonel Sanders. I don't know. I'm never going to get it. I don't know movies.
Wow, it's his only Academy Award.
The scent of a
woman. See, I told you I was going to get it.
Your son had no idea where that sound
Where I
was
get it
from.
from.
This is two generations of idiot. Pop culture idiot.
I knew it was Al Pacino.
Greg, you cannot listen to what you just did for the last 4 minutes and say that that is some sort of expertise that you're bragging about.
First of all, I speak for moviegoers in general. Al Pacino and De Niro are always interchangeable. They're always mistaken for each other. They're the same person.
De Niro could not have been the devil.
They've won the same awards. They're like the same people.
They were only in one scene together, like in their movie careers.
I know, but they're parallel lives. And you know it.
Put it on the poll. Do you often confuse De Niro and Pacino, and you know it? At Le
And you
Batard
know it.
Show.
You're going to have to wait for that one.
Exactly.
That was staggering. Even by the standards of the Greg Cody Show featuring Greg Cody, where your son Michael asks you movie questions and you flail and fail and get them all wrong. Even by those standards, that was an amazing amount of ignorance.
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
I will apologize yet again to the very punctual David Sampson, very organized David Sampson, that our shit show is always 8 minutes late when he is a human who is exceptionally punctual, and we're always making him wait because we've always got our thumb in our foot. But I have a number of questions to ask David that don't have anything to do with sports in the moment. And one of them is this. David, I feel bad every single time this happens, and yet I can't stop it from happening, and it just won't stop happening to me. David Sampson does a show with Coca by themselves. It's very hard to do what they're doing. He's talking all the time without quite as much support as we have around here. And I'm perpetually, accidentally texting him during his show live because I forget that he's on the air and I don't know it's 7:06 in the morning instead of 6:43, and I'm not paying attention to whether or not David Sampson's on the air, and so I'm actively distracting. I am Ronaldo. I'm getting in the way of David Sampson being able to do his job better, and he has a compulsive need also to answer every single text he gets. So he ends up doing a live show while texting me, the guilt of live on air. The reminder of he doesn't have to do that. He can just not answer. But he's like, live on air, because he wants to make me feel bad, but I already do feel bad because I can't stop doing it.
It'd be great if this preamble lasts 25 more minutes. Just never get to him. Apologize
Dan,
for being
I
late.
will be
and then
quick.
We'll talk to you next time. Nice chatting with
Yeah.
you. Do that.
I'll be quick with you, Dan. I don't buy your excuses anymore. It's been 7 a.m. for a year. You do it all the time, and you know that you're on my very short list of people where the alert comes through because I assume when you are texting me, there is of some meaning to it, and I don't want to leave you hanging because you want a response. So I'm going to respond.
I don't want to
But you do it in the middle of a show and then apologize. So
okay.
I'm over it. It's fine. I've learned to live with it. The list is very short of people who get through the barrier between 7 and 9, and you're on it, and you're never going to get off it as long as you have me at Meadowlark.
I'm interested in who's on this list. Like who gets through at 7 in the morning? So Dan gets through, and no one else in this room, right?
Yes, one other person gets through.
Jeremy.
Mike Ryan.
I can't believe you and Roy have that relationship.
When Mike knows, because Mike knows. Mike is aware of the time, so if he's texting between 7 and 9, there is a critical issue that needs to be addressed, not general drivel.
Okay, and you're responding to Dan during your show? Like, you can't... Like, you start to get agita, right, if
While
you don't
I'm
respond.
talking. No, I was doing a segment when he texted.
What were you talking
obviously.
about? Do you remember? Do you remember what was it? Difficult subject matter? Were you talking about Israel?
No, I was likely talking about the fight going on between Fox and ESPN at the moment regarding the World Cup. That's sort of been my angle. Now, this is happening now that I'm going to do. Oh, Chris, this is a joke. All right. Thank you.
Well,
Goodbye.
it's not between 7 and 9.
So,
no, it's not
listen.
between.
So let me tell you this story. If Cody calls while I'm on the air, the assumption is that there's a technical issue or that I need to know not to talk about something. So I'm going to answer you. You guys, you kill me.
I really wish, David, that you.
I wish he picked it up on speaker.
David, I wish you had answered the phone and then heard Chris Cody.
What's up? Hey, David.
I wish we'd heard it through the speaker in your phone. Chris Cody. Chris Cody calling you from the other room. I want to get to the ESPN coverage because holy shit, people are complaining about it. But before we do that, I want to get Zaz's answer to my question before the break. And David, I want to include you in on this conversation. In the information age and in the misinformation age, we've got a whole bunch of people reporting on Giannis and Jaylen Brown. And I'm telling you that I know that Mike Ryan's information is good because anytime he's put a story in front of people here, it's happened. So what am I to do, Zaz, before we go to Samson, on the fact that 3 credible reporters, including Windhorst, are saying something? I don't know if you think they're all paid propaganda for the Celtics. They're all bought in some way. They're saying one thing, and Mike Ryan is saying the opposite a day after I've told you. Zaz, who do you believe? It's going to get kind of important in tomorrow's America that you have people you believe on information.
Yeah, this is a tough one for me because you know the way that I lean, which is I go with the really credible guys, the guys like Windhorst who aren't afraid to tell you when they don't know. I feel like a lot of the guys out there on television and even some of them on the internet, they'll tell you something because they have to be in the game. They have to have some kind of information. And the reason I tell you that this is hard for me to decipher now because I trust Mike. Like I know him and I trust him and he's not making things up.
But I trust his work, though. It's the body of work. It's not just trusting Mike, your friend, and you trust a friend.
Well, yeah, I trust
he's
a friend
broken
because
some of the
not
biggest
lying.
stories in sports the last few years.
Look, I don't like how this is being positioned. They're saying that Jaylen Brown isn't on the table. I'm telling you, I'm hearing something totally different, that Jaylen Brown is absolutely involved in these discussions. And guys, just use your brains here. If Boston is indeed interested in Giannis, which everyone from the Boston media is conceding, then Jaylen Brown is obviously being discussed. It is not a non-starter for Boston, especially given Jaylen Brown's behavior. And if he is indeed being talked about in these discussions, that's a horse of a different color if you're a Miami Heat fan.
Here's the place where I do doubt what you're saying because, okay, Boston has Jaylen Brown on the table. What are we still doing here? What's the holdup then?
There's other teams.
Other teams what?
And
there's other teams to facilitate because this isn't a 1-for-1.
But it's not hard to find any number of teams that want Jaylen Brown and will give up the draft capital.
No. If you follow the league, there is uncertainty about one of the teams out there and what their capital may look like. Look, the Los Angeles Clippers would be an interesting destination, one that would suit Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown has shown you in his career he can fit in with another wing that eats first. But what's going to happen to their draft assets? Could the league hand down punishment? I do think that there is some uncertainty with some of these teams.
And remember, Tony brought up the third team for a reason, because ultimately you're looking at a team in the Clippers that, yes, they have that 5th pick available, but what? If you're Milwaukee, you might get that 5th pick, maybe one other future pick, and then a bunch of expiring salary and salary filler, especially if the Heat were able to facilitate Hero to another team and you're getting potentially 4 picks. That looks different.
And the other thing, too, is Jaylen Brown wants to get a trade, but then he's going to get traded to the same exact situation he just left in another all-star great wing. It doesn't make sense.
Well, David, let me throw this back to you. Let's say Los Angeles, the Clippers, are interested in facilitating this deal and certainly would be interested in a deal that helps them net Jaylen Brown. In these discussions, how would Boston and Milwaukee handle the Clippers' investigation right now? Because the league may drop down a punishment, and couldn't draft picks be potentially on the line here?
They're definitely on the line. In those conversations, you call the league, actually, when you are looking at a player and you know there's an investigation around that player, around that team, you call the commissioner and look for guidance. And the commissioner is not going to tell you exactly what the punishment is prior to the report being given to the owners, but they will certainly give you the guidance of timing. And we saw Adam Silver do that. At PTFO, interesting. All of us are ready because we believe that post-parade, pre-draft is when there's going to be an announcement of what the findings have been by the investigating firm, Wachtell Lipton. And that would make the most sense to give certainty to all of the clubs in the NBA. So the timing's now, but you do work prior to the announcement. But that's why there's no Giannis trade yet, because you have to know the entire circumstances surrounding every team, and there's great uncertainty with the Clippers. However, the other side is I don't think internally there's as much uncertainty as what I'm telling you exists publicly. I believe the Clippers are very aware of what their punishment is. Steve Ballmer will not read about it from a press release. He's going to be spoken to. There will be a discussion. Some would argue that discussion has already happened long before Wachtell Lipton even started their investigation. But the absolute finish to the aspiration investigation is when it is publicly announced. But in terms of teams being ready, they're getting ready right now.
I want to get to James Dolan with you, and we're going to see who joins us for the parade and how good the Wi-Fi is. We're going to check in with a New York parade that has already been shut down and closed off. And while I want to answer the question on just generally who's credible, who do you believe, I do want to move to a different subject as well, because the amount of criticism ESPN is getting for not reaching this particular moment in the world's game is a delicate spot for me to be in, because people are always going to assume that if I'm critical of ESPN, I'm being bitter, I'm mad about something or whatever else, okay? So I'm simply telling you that I'm reading an enormous amount of criticism, and also it's supremely jarring to me to watch ESPN and have them use pictures the way we do, stills, because they don't have the video to something, and it makes it really hard to cover this particular thing if all you have is stills. And you see how FIFA is very protective about, you better not be using any of their stuff, their sponsors or anything, because they get all the money. When ESPN, Mike, is criticized about all of this, we are going to be seen as a biased informant on this. But I'm just telling you, I'm reading the criticism of others, and I cannot believe how harsh it is. Even Fox is making fun of the coverage of ESPN.
Yeah, I'm curious Dave's take on the Fox thing, but we saw this freight train coming for years. As a U.S. soccer fan, I was so jacked up about us hosting a World Cup, and you would think that the worldwide leader would meet the moment in some form or fashion. But, guys, they have about $100 million tied up in daytime personalities that are fairly limited. Of their daytime programming, the only guy in that group that can talk soccer with authority is Pat McAfee, because he played the game and he's genuinely excited about it. He's a soccer fan. But Stephen A. can't talk about more than two sports. And it's not even the majors. Like, the second biggest sport in this country is college football. The guy has no knowledge of it. They pay this man $40 million, and he's asking Roger Bennett, hey, can France finally pull this thing off when they've won 2 World Cups on the men's side in the last 30 years? This has been a recent development with France, of them winning at the highest level. And when they don't win, they flame out in spectacular fashion, or they make it to a final and headbutt a player. It's France. It's Kylian Mbappe. It's the World Cup in America. Is it too much to ask your big-time talisman talent who makes $40 million a year, hey, bone up on this just a little bit? Mike Greenberg, hey, bone up on this just a little bit? Maybe we run the gamut with Taylor Twellman and we force him into these conversations so you don't embarrass yourself. Here's a little basic stat pack. France has won 2 World Cups. Let's start there. Is it too much to ask for these high-priced talents to do a modicum, a small, minuscule amount of research in preparation for what is the biggest sporting event on the planet?
Boy, do you have unrealistic expectations, and I'm sorry, because ESPN doesn't have the rights. That means it's not the priority. And you're asking why they're showing stills. That's what you do when you don't have highlight rights. And the rules are they can't show highlights until Fox is off the air at the end of the day. So they can't show highlights 2 hours after the 3 p.m. match. They have to show highlights of the 3 p.m. match at midnight when Fox is done. And in the old days, the Skipper days, that'd be fine. People would go to SportsCenter for those highlights. But now you get the highlights elsewhere faster, and there's not that need. So ESPN says, you know what? What am I even bothering? They've got a rundown. They've got minutes allocated to sports that matter to them financially. The World Cup is not driving their earnings right now. It's simply not. No one is going to ESPN for World Cup, so why would they lean into it?
Is the criticism fair? Is the criticism fair? Like
no. No. How are you criticized when you show stills because you don't buy highlight rights?
But you can wait a minute. Look, it's easier to have the video, obviously. But you can still cover it well and be entertaining and cover it as if it's the world's biggest event in sports.
CBS does not have the rights either, and they have an entire network dedicated. Galazzo does a great job in the morning. Yes, I understand the whole deal with rights, and I don't want to conflate the two. You can still have discussions. The Ronaldo topic should be an easy one for Stephen A. Smith. Surely, a guy that is paid that much to follow sports can be vaguely familiar with Cristiano Ronaldo, where he is in his career and what this storyline is. Put the work in. Is someone afraid to ask him to put the work in? You're paying him a lot of money. And I know you're saying it's not driving their revenue. That's their fault. There are people the world over that have underestimated the drawing power of the World Cup in particular. This is going to be the most profitable World Cup, not just for FIFA, which is price gouging, but also for the broadcaster. Because of the introduction of hydration breaks, that has already netted them $250 million on a $500 million deal.
That's old news, Mike.
No.
Match breaks now.
No.
Match breaks.
What I'm saying is ESPN doesn't know how much meat is on the bone because they don't even care to try.
David, the thing that's happening
because they have a full bone, Dan.
Dave,
I'm sorry.
The thing that's happening here, you can answer. I want to hear what you have to say. But when it's not just that the ESPN's coverage is being universally, except for you, being said that it's bad, it's also that the coverage you're getting on Fox is extraordinary. Like, it's...
On the broadcast. However, Awful Announcing had an interesting take that there was this initial report that Fox is upset with the lack of coverage from ESPN, and then it got walked back. David, I have a theory as to why it got walked back. It's the NFL. All these people have to make it work. They're all sharing highlights when it comes to the NFL. And if you have network-on-network crime, that can get ugly with your other partnerships. But Awful Announcing was wise to point out, hey, Fox, you're not exactly doing great World Cup coverage with your FS1 daytime programming either. In fact, you have Major League Baseball rights, you have college basketball rights, and you don't really pay any attention to that with your daytime programming. So you're throwing stones from a glass house.
I think it's important to note how rundowns are done in those big shows. And you call it playing the hits. If you talk about LeBron, you have a GOAT conversation. You talk about the Dallas Cowboys. You touch on the Yankees. Don't forget to mention the Dodgers and Ohtani. I've had these conversations with Skipper about how ESPN, of course, he claims I had nothing to do with rundowns. I didn't say what had to be done. Okay, I'll take him at his word for that, though I don't believe him. And I will say that what they do is
That's not taking someone at their word. That's not. It's the opposite of that. It's the opposite.
So I will not take him at his word to say that when I'm building rundowns and I see them built at CBS as an example, I understand exactly how the rundowns are built according to rights packages, highlights packages, and what plays. Stephen A. Smith talking about soccer, Mike, it doesn't play. So why would he do it?
What about Damian Woody?
You have no. I know you say it doesn't play because we have no evidence of it, but it probably would play if he researched on it, or they outsourced compelling coverage to someone, which they're trying with Roger Bennett. And Stephen A. Smith is embarrassing himself a little bit on these conversations. I think a little bit of preparation would have gone a long way. You see these ratings for the World Cup. Very clearly, there is a midday audience for the World Cup. So while you say there isn't an audience for it, the reason why there isn't an audience for it is they are not seeking it out. They are not investing in that audience. They have their hits. I'm surprised we're not hearing about Dak Prescott's contract right now. You can find good coverage. And if you're into World Cup coverage, you are certainly going elsewhere, and that should bother people at ESPN. That should bother people even at FS1 when they have the rights. Why is everyone kicking our ass on this? And quite frankly, it's not just a soccer issue. It comes to the NHL. It comes to Major League Baseball. They are, on daytime programming until you get to Pat McAfee, a two-sport network. They are the NBA and they are the NFL. And the reason why that is because their talents are NBA and NFL. That's all they know. If their talent was well-versed in all the sports, I think if you pay a sports expert $40 million, they should know as much as Zaz knows when it comes to sports. They should be watching every game all the time.
Compliment or an insult?
I took it as a compliment.
No, this is basic. This is basic understanding. Like, this is sports. You're a sports fan. You're the worldwide leader. You're paid the most handsome contract in the history of sports broadcasting.
It's $20 million.
Well,
It is 20, Dan, correct. But by the way, Mike, what are the two biggest investments that Disney makes in sports?
The rights. The NFL.
Which leagues?
The NFL and college football.
So I'm going to tell you where NBA is and what the investment is with Disney, and you're going to say, oh, I guess there may be a correlation. All I'm arguing is for correlation. FS1's a different story, and obviously this is your moment. To me, if I'm Fox and I know that I have the rights at a discount, which is clear, there's like lawsuits about it, but I am trying to buttress FS1 right now and try to even get 1 inch into ESPN's dominance of midday. This is their moment. Like, get them now and try to keep them and retain them. But it's sort of like the Marlins trying to keep people who come to World Baseball Classic games. It's really hard to retain when that event is not particularly happening, but it would be worth the investment for FS1 for sure.
Dan, what's buttress mean?
I'm not asking for them to break down Vitinha's holding midfield play when PSG is playing in a Champions League final. I'm saying this moment comes once every 4 years.
That was a show-off move. It was.
It's not. I mean, come on. It's Vitinha and it's PSG. I could have gone way deeper.
I know
in the
you
bag.
could have, but you did that on purpose. You were making a point.
Yeah, I'm making a point. This is the World Cup. It happens every 4 years, and this time it may be the last time we have it on this continent. Like, do some basic stuff. Be able to talk Messi. Be able to talk Ronaldo. I'm not asking for much. And this isn't just a soccer thing. I know I'm a soccer fan. And by the way, a new episode of Morally Abhorrent is already on our feeds. Thank you, Jeremy, for calling it, quote, really good. That is an upgrade over what Dan calls it, which is, quote, a situation.
Dan, is buttress like a queen?
I have a lot of questions here. One of them, Jeremy, can you tell me why is a horse of a different color? Why?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked, Dan. So this originally stems from Shakespeare in Twelfth Night, but it was popularized in 1939 with The Wizard of Oz. So when Dorothy approaches the gates and gets to, try to see the wizard, the guard there says, oh, you're wearing the ruby red slippers. That's a horse of a different color. Now, you also might hear that and think, no, but that sounds like the 90s to me. Where it's referenced is in the movie Rookie of the Year when Henry Rowan-Gardner shows up to the Cubs locker room and they're like, what's this kid doing here? And he knocks on it just like in The Wizard of Oz. And the guard pops out with his big curly mustache just like in The Wizard of Oz. And he says, oh, you're Rowan-Gardner. That's a horse of a different color. I didn't know that was a Wizard of Oz reference, Dan.
Thanks for that, Jeremy.
You're welcome. That's worth a toast.
Brought to you by Cuervo.
Dan, this parade's getting going here. What we got happening here is the players making their way to the buses, but I'm already seeing way more former Knicks and celebrities than actual players. Saw John Starks, saw Chalamet, saw Chris Rock. I'm seeing Kat here, but it seems like it's just going to be these celebrities are going to make it about themselves.
Where is Amin and what can we get from Amin? When's Amin going to join us? What is Amin's? It started 10 minutes ago. The punctuation, David, I will simply put on the conversation that we're having about content before I ask you about James Dolan, if this business model is interesting to you, ESPN used to have 110 million people in they used to be in 110 million homes. It's about 60 million now. That's a big drop in a little bit of time. And 109.5 million of those homes were not watching my television show with my dad. They were paying for it, but they weren't watching. Our shows, my father's, all of the shows, they're just infomercials. They're infomercials for sports and for leagues. And if you have the rights on those leagues, of course, you're going to cover the hell out of basketball and football because you're just doing infomercials all day in order to get to the games. But The Knicks are in the middle of a championship here, and this is what's going to be talked about. America's champion, not the world playing. This parade of champions is going to be a story today because New York hasn't felt like this very often. James Dolan, the White House. James Dolan's going to the White House. I don't know if the Knicks are going to end up going to the White House. Everything that's happening right here with James Dolan, where he's doing interviews and saying, yes, of course, I'll write the biggest of checks to keep the team together, but not if I have to go into the second apron. No, that's a check too far. I'll write any amount of money, but not that amount of money. And he's not going to keep Mitchell Robinson and Landry Shamet, no matter how much you're invested in them emotionally. James Dolan and being the center, the hood ornament of this, when he's been a truly epically unethical, bad owner the entire time he has been in the sport.
So we just recorded Pablo Torre Finds Out that's going to come out very soon about this very subject, and I gave some nuance on Nothing Personal this morning. I want to give you a little bit of nuance here. James Dolan was in the middle of a renaissance that comes with being an owner of a champion. You get the benefit of a doubt for a hot second. It may not last if he owns the team for 15 more years and doesn't win again. Then he's got one championship and 35 years of ownership, whatever the numbers end up being. But what he did to himself yesterday was a self-inflicted injury, which was totally unnecessary. It is very reasonable not to go in the second apron, even as an NBA champion. The second apron was developed in the CBA not to be put in by any team. And when teams are in there, they regret it. Mickey Arison is one of the great examples. Don't talk apron to me. I ain't going, and I still have multiple rings. It can be done. But why say it yesterday? He had an opportunity to glow in the rebirth of his reputation, and he crapped on it for no apparent reason other than what I can think of, Dan, which is that he just can't help himself, which may explain most people's actions.
Oh, he's got to be loving this, David. Like, he's just look, this guy's wanted to be more popular like a high school boy for a long time. He's got his own band, and he is an epically bad owner. This does not change that. Like, he is awful in almost any way you do the measurements, except that he has now won a championship. This is a name that's synonymous with this guy is bad at ownership and controlling, and he shouldn't have that much control, because if he has control, he's going to do the wrong things with that control. As unpopular an owner as New York has ever had, and they had Steinbrenner, and this does not change that in any way. He is still all those things. His team just won.
Dan, I love you. It's as though you were in on Pablo's show yesterday. You just said Steinbrenner, known as an epically bad owner. If you ask somebody outside of New York, like let's say someone like a Dominique Foxworth, hey, what do you think of George Steinbrenner? First words, won a lot of World Series. Just think about what you're saying for a minute when you're talking about
when he had the most
Dolan.
money, and in this sport, their salary captain, you got to be smarter than the other people, and Dolan hasn't been, and he's an awful person, like objectively
I
awful
agree
person.
he's an awful person, and I know people who have worked for him, and he's a nightmare, much like Steinbrenner was to work for. However, James Dolan has changed his reputation, no matter what you or Pablo say.
No, he's
he
not.
has now won a championship.
That's asinine.
That
What
is-
you're saying.
I didn't say
no.
that
You don't.
it is now
You don't. You
good.
don't get to
It's
be a
gotten
horrific.
better.
You don't get to be a horrific human being, and then your team wins a championship because you have a lot of money, and then you're not a horrific human being anymore. That's not how that
I
happens.
didn't say he wasn't a horrific human being. I said there's been incremental change in his reputation because he now has a ring, and they will never take that away. He is the owner who brought a championship to New York for the first time in 53 years. He was sued yesterday because all of our personal information is in the hands of cyber terrorists. There's a class action lawsuit. And you know what? He's still a championship-winning owner.
He's come off like an owner who loves to meddle and loves to talk and didn't do a whole lot of talking for the last few years, really, since they hired Leon Rose. And now that they've won, it's like, oh, great, I could talk again. I could say whatever I want. That's exactly what's been happening for the last few days now.
And he'll keep doing that, Zaz, and that is who he is, and he will end up burying himself as he started yesterday with the apron talk and the White House talk. But guess what? No one will think twice about the apron if the Knicks defend their championship and win another one next year. No one will say a word about Mitchell Robinson or Shamet or anybody, because at the end, what the fans want is they want rings.
Okay, PTFO is now out, and Pablo has been doing a wonderful job with that show in a number of different ways. He and David are Pulitzer winners with some of the work that they have done on that show, as well as Amin, who's at the parade. I'd like to get Amin. I don't know what has happened here. I just saw Mike Breen in a suit at the parade, and I'm like, oh, no, Mike. Mike, what have you done?
Only guy in a suit in
Mike,
square miles.
No, Mike. I put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Is Mike Breen always in a suit, even when he's naked? Because you can't go to the parade. You can't go to the parade in a suit.
Well, he might be an MC at the podium.
Can't
at City
go
Hall,
to.
though.
Can't go in a suit.
You got to
He
go
should be
polo
in a tank top
or polo.
No, look. Mike Breen can look good under all circumstances, except wearing a suit at a parade. Like he's gonna, and that's like Wall Street. There'll be plenty of people there who are dressed. And no, Mike, don't dress like them. Not at a parade. Not when we're celebrating. Not when we're celebrating Washington Heights because Karl Anthony Towns wants to touch the people.
Shout out to Dykeman.
The most Hispanic moment in the history of basketball. Him winning at the center of that
It really
thing.
is, Dan. If we really want to talk about it, it is the most Hispanic moment in NBA history. Yeah.
It's close. It's either that or that guy who played with gel in his hair for Puerto Rico at 40 years old in the Olympics. Ortiz.
Manu Ginobili killed a bat with his bare hands. Yeah. Easy.
I don't think of Ginobili as Hispanic, the same kind of Hispanic.
Wow.
They're different kinds.
with Dan.
There are different kinds of
Wow.
Hispanic.
You're a noted Argentina hater, though.
Yeah, I do hate Argentina, and I have a lot of preconceived notions, which is weird because I'm part Italian, and yet I escape it.
Not all Hispanics are the same. And while Ginobili, they're not all the same. They're not. Don't say they're all the same. Don't say, whoa, we're all the same, Jeremy. We're all the same.
Huh, Jeremy?
We're not all the same.
We're all
I
the
didn't
same.
peg you as
We're all the
they're
same.
all the same.
We're all the
kinda
same.
guy.
I have nothing to do with
Didn't
this.
seem
Do
to
we all
say.
look the same to you?
You should try
Just
to peg him.
disqualifying.
We look all the same to you.
I'm not in this.
That's
Wow,
what I
that
heard.
one got me.
Mexicans, Argentinians, Cubans, Puerto Ricans. We are not all the same, Jeremy. I'm surprised.
Dan?
They speak
know what I was
Spanish.
saying.
I don't know what we're doing with Argentinians other than pointing out their
know what?
curious history and why everyone has blue eyes.
Jeremy, I'm sorry.
Minor penalty, 2 minutes. Accidental racism.
Hispanics are not all the same. We're not all the same. Puerto Ricans are not the same as Mexicans. Yes, David.
Dan, my first day in Miami, when I met with the marketing department, I wanted to do Hispanic marketing. And I thought that it would just be you market to Cubans, you market to Mexicans, you market to South Americans, people from Ecuador. I thought just put an ad in Spanish and that is Hispanic marketing. And I was taught, I just didn't know. And I learned very quickly that it's totally different marketing, totally different language, different messages to Cubans in Miami, to Mexicans, to every different type of Hispanic. So I understand someone thinking all Hispanics are the same. But I learned that in fact is not the case, and it was literally the first marketing meeting I ever had in 2002 in Miami.
When I tell you that Pablo Torre is doing good work, it's today. Now it is Samson and Dominique, and Dominique is going to be here next week spending some time with us. Chris Cody, can we include David Sampson on the conversation from a couple of days ago? Just present. I don't want to contaminate the jury pool. So you present to David the winning argument that you believe you have on you should behave this way at a grocery store.
David, I feel like you'll agree with me that it's okay to do this. Okay, if I'm in a grocery store, I got a cart full of stuff. I got a bunch of creamed corn, cans of creamed corn, because like I'm making a nice corn souffle. And my wife texts me, hey, we don't need creamed corn. We actually have a bunch. And I'm like 7 aisles away from where I got the creamed corn. I'm just going to take those 2 cans of cream corn that I have and put them whatever aisle
on
I'm
the
at.
Mother's Day cards.
On the Mother's Day cards, anywhere. I'm putting it out. I'm putting it anywhere, David. You agree with me on this?
Yeah, this is an easy one. You take it with you to checkout, and you give it to the people at checkout and say, I'm not taking this.
But that's not as
and
fun.
Then they have a pile.
That's not as fun, though.
You can't put it in the wrong place. That's wrong for the next people.
But I sometimes, while walking through a grocery store, see a misplaced item, and it makes me smile because I'm like, oh, I've done us. There's a lot of me's out there.
Yeah, no, you're doing it wrong. Try, just keep it in your cart, and then as you're putting it on the belt, you point out to the cashier, "Hey, I'm not taking this." Don't ever put something in the wrong place.
How about
It's just
as a
rude.
crime at the grocery store? What's worse, that one or Chris's other one?
Well, the shopping cart, I mean, like I said, I just kind of defend. I think people are hypocrites with this, David, this whole shopping cart thing. If there's a corral near my car, I'm going to put it in it. But if there's no corral, I'm not walking all the way back into the store to put the cart in.
100%. You put it in between the back-to-back parking spots so that both cars can pull in.
That's right.
But so you put a parallel where the middle of the cart is the middle of the end parking line that represents the line between two cars.
I got messages from listeners yesterday who said that I'm 1,000% right, where I like to take the cart, I put it on the opposite side of the parking lot. I don't care. And I got messages from people who have worked at supermarkets. They love that because it's more time that they get to just prance around in the parking lot and not work. I was right.
YouTube chat, you're lazy. I'm not lazy. You're lazy.
Okay, take your arguments with the YouTube chat into another room. I don't want them getting in the way of our show. And find me Amin, please, as we close this out with David Sampson, because the parade has started. Amin's there. We'd have dodgy internet, and I'm going to have to go to Jess before I go to Amin because she's going to be in position and ready. Do we know if Jess is going to be able to get in there, given that the police have told us that 2 hours early they shut that down? David, you don't strike me much as a parade guy. Would you have any interest in anything that's happening out there?
No, I will only be in parades, not watching parades.
Wow.
Jerk.
That is.
So you've retired from that game?
Yes. I am done. I'm done. I was in one parade, and it was awesome. And I would not go to this parade if you paid me money. So I'm glad you didn't ask me to cover this, Dan, because I would have had to have said yes to you. I could have pulled the sick daughter card, but I wouldn't have done it. I would have done what you would have asked, but I would have been despondent at that assignment.
Pitch clock is going to be later in the show. I want to get to David's review for a second, but to just indulge Jeremy, who takes a bit of a beating around here for reasons that are earned.
He really does.
Can you tell me if Otto Lopez is an all-star for Jeremy? He wants to know if he can get Otto Lopez into the Major League All-Star game.
It's a guarantee. Who else do you think would represent the Marlins?
Well, he's saying they should have
They'll
four.
have multiple all-stars.
It's not going to be – it'll be Max Meyer will be the pitcher, and I would say there is a 90% chance that Otto Lopez will be a second. If they can keep hovering around 500, they'll have two all-stars. It won't be Hicks. It won't be Edwards.
You don't think Edwards should make it? Is he deserving?
I think he could, but I just don't see him sliding into either. I don't think the managers choose him. I don't think, obviously, the fan vote, and I don't think the players will either. Too much depth there. But Lopez and Meyer, I believe, will be all-stars. You don't have to worry. But don't do a Brunson. Don't do that on this show because don't make fun of it. Otto Lopez is a deserving all-star, and he will get there on his own accord. He doesn't need the push of the sarcasm.
Not Brunson.
Oh, I just think our show should use the audience that we have to get a deserving all-star in Otto Lopez.
That's not how we roll,
to
Jeremy.
be the starting all-star.
That's not the show, number one. Number two, he'll never be voted in. He will never be voted in.
I'll use pitch clock to do that.
Pitch clock is later in the show. Bring on Amin here. We've only got 2 minutes left, so I'm now going to combine David's movie segment with Amin's bad internet. This is also Wemby, the sound that Wemby makes when he joins us without his mask on. I don't know what's happening here. I cannot see Amin. Amin, give us a live report from the parade that may just be a phone because your video stinks.
Yeah, no video. It doesn't stink. It just doesn't exist because the signals are jammed. There are way too many people in lower Manhattan, so we can't get a single signal here. The parade has started late because apparently the Knicks could not get to the start of the parade because there were so many people in the streets blocking traffic. They couldn't start the parade on time because they couldn't even get to the float. It's pandemonium out here. I've never seen this many people in one place at one time. The number of people who aren't in the parade zone, right? There's a security zone with NYPD counterterrorism kind of running the security check. Then there's like 100 yards, and then there's a barricade, then there's another barricade, and that's where the rest of humanity is. And it's just a sea of people everywhere.
David, please walk me through. We are a video company in the modern age that spent a lot of time just yelling at ESPN for its World Cup stills, and now we've got Sean McGill with a dangerous backpack in the middle of New York. They've gotten into the parade, but we can't get any video from the parade. We've just got a still of Amin in a Knicks jersey. Your thoughts?
I think it would have been nicer to have not gone to him at all, but I love you, Amin. But that was just not acceptable, Dan, by any stretch.
Okay, no time for David's review. Sorry. No time for your movie review. We had to go out to a phone line in the modern age in 2026. Amin will next be sending his future reports with a stamp that costs 78 cents. Thank you to Sean McGill and Amin for joining us from the lowest rung of the show business ladder.
We'll tell you how dildos helped a man escape from alligator Alcatraz and talk with the Florida Democratic candidate caught up in a scandal that led to an election fraud complaint, forcing him to drop out of a high-profile congressional race. All new because Miami.
Every single Thursday on the Dan Le Batard Show, you can watch a new episode of The Pitch Clock. So go to the Le Batard Show YouTube, check out the playlist tab, and go watch every single episode we've ever made, and you can play trivia with us. This week, we have a brand new game between Chris Cody and myself. Ethan, as always, in charge of it, and I'm trying to get hot in this one. But speaking of getting hot, the Miami Marlins are one of the best teams in the month of June, and so I brought in one of my very best friends, fellow Marlins broadcaster Kelly Sacco. She is as good as it gets in baseball media, and she is here to explain why Olo, as Greg Cody would call him, Otto Lopez, deserves to be an all-star. Plus, what's made the Marlins tick, what's allowed them to turn things around, who some of the unsung heroes are. All that and more on this week's episode of The Pitch Clock, only on the Dan Le Batard Show.
This week on Mystery Crate, I give you the worst piece of sushi that has ever been created. And a lot of people say no, I say yes. Plus, a lot of good stuff with the World Cup that Fuentes went to Game 1. We also have our book reports / PowerPoint slides / fun fact thing that we were given last second.
Yeah, I learned of that right before this.
What do you mean no?
No, it was last week.
Okay, it was last second.
It was a little last second.
It was last second,
But you could see the disparity in our graphic design skills. I'm really impressed with my own, if I'm going to be honest with myself. We also talk about what TV shows we think each person in this room could be a newly introduced character into.
Rose, we also try what kind of chips?
I think so.
Jew chips.
So tune in for Jew chips.
Jew chips. Delicious.
Nick, before we let you talk about the Steelers, you're in luck because we have the Love Doctor. The Love Doctor is here. He is ready. He is in his office right now. Dr. Greg Cody getting everybody ready for Mother's Day this weekend. And we have questions. The Love Doctor is going to have the answers. Who's up first?
I know a lot of people are going to come to you and they're going to want to know, how do you keep it interesting? Me, I'm not interested in interesting. So how do you keep it predictable? How do you keep it ho-hum? How do you just let it just be?
Was that Jason Tatum asking that question?
Young lady, you are my kind of gal. That's my lane. That's my lane of romance. I invented predictable. Nobody has perfected the art of dull routine like yours truly. As a matter of fact, little inside information here, my wife and I schedule our naughty time months in advance, like doctor's appointments. Quite often, she'll have to cancel because she said something came up. Unfortunately, sometimes I'll have to cancel because something didn't come up. That kind of thing.
It's good luck for us.
Do we have another question for the Love Doctor here after such great advice?
With Chris listening.
Oh, we're doing it, baby.
What are you guys doing, man?
Oh, you want question number 2?
Yeah, let's go question number 2.
Oh, yeah, Greg. Hey, man, I need your help, man. So I'm out of town for Mother's Day, trying to figure out what can I get my girl for Mother's Day in another city.
Oh, wow. Buddy, I'm worried about this. Not one, but 2 of the Love Doctor's marriages began rending like cheap fabric when Greg was either out of town at a sporting event or away at a doctoral conference. and the exes were doing the clandestine bumpy bump behind my back. Jack, I suggest you get your girl what you'd never expect, a private eye to keep an eye on her randy ass.
You know about that Randy ass, Nick?
I don't like this at all.
Thank you, Love Doctor. Don't go anywhere. We may go back to you. Appreciate you.
I don't like this at all.
Somehow, the least embarrassing Cody on today's show.
Wait till Nick finds out that Chris, with Greg sitting nearby, admitted about a half an hour ago that when he's having a hard time becoming aroused, he thinks of his wife's twin sister to get in the mood.
It was a shocking revelation.
That's what happened, Nick.
Shocking.
That happened.
Yeah, he did.
No, he did.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did. He did.
It was shocking.
Unnecessary, also.
I don't like. This isn't. Again, I might need a mean here. This isn't kayfabe. Kayfabe?
Kayfabe.
Which is it? I don't know.
Kayfabe,
Thank
wrestling
you.
nerd here at your service.
This isn't.
Zaz could have
Thanks,
helped
Mike Ryan. This isn't kayfabe. I don't like this at all. And I would appreciate if you guys turned the music off. This is not great.
So the Steelers. Are you ready to do your catchphrases? I heard there's some controversy around the. It's the Greg Cody Show featuring Greg Cody. He is counting down his top 50 catchphrases of all time. It has been a successful months-long joke. What is the controversy surrounding your catchphrase list? What is the issue?
It's big. The controversy is that based on quality demand, the catchphrase countdown has suddenly increased from a top 50 to a top 60.
What?
That's
What?
right. And it's controversial.
Of course it is. You told us it was a top 50, and we told you it was something you were making up as you went along, and that you weren't going to get the numbers right, and now you just changed
He
it.
botched it to such a degree that there are so many good ones left that we're just pushing all
I
the
knew
current
that was
ones
going to
back.
happen, though. That's exactly what we were saying.
Your brain beating me.
How did this happen? What was the ruling? What did the committee get together and decide? How did it happen that it got expanded? Now, no one's going to complain about this because more catchphrases is great, but we told you this was going to happen, and we told you this was a sloppy list by you.
The others, they all learn from me.
Yeah, right.
No, I looked at all the catchphrases remaining, and there was only 14 left, but there were like 20-something good ones. So I'm like,
thank you.
Let's go.
So wait a minute. So how did you do it though? Are there now is there now a new list 50 to 60, or
No,
what are you doing?
everything that's been said is just like what was 50 is now 60.
Yes.
There were
Wow.
14 left, and now there's 24
So we're
left.
not in the top 20
No,
anymore?
now we're at 23
we were
and
in the top
24.
20 of the countdown, and now we're at 24?
I'm telling you, they're bangers, though. There are just bangers
There
left.
is nobody that's actually upset about this development. Come on.
You've got to honor the list,
I'm
though.
telling you, I got a peek. I don't know the exact order, but I got a peek of what the top 10 looks like, and it is just banger after
Yeah,
banger.
Yeti hated it. He's against it.
Yeti thinks that we should just make him live with the world he gave
You should.
us. Like,
I mean,
there's-
I asked you several times throughout this whole process. Have you thought this out? Have you planned out the list? You know that there are 50. You kept assuring me that you have it all under control.
Driver comfort is paramount.
He ain't wrong. You know, part of the beauty of me is a bit of serendipity, a bit of
You're the kind of guy.
unpredictability. And so the same is true with this list. Okay, whenever you do a countdown, Zaz, bank this information for your future. Whenever you do any sort of a countdown, controversy is good. You want somebody to say, that sucks, that should be lower, or that's, wow, I can't believe that's not higher.
So wait, so what used to be 50 is now 60.
Yes.
So we've gotten fraudulent rankings up to now. All the numerical rankings we've gotten up to now are all wrong.
He can give you the updated, like number 60, he can give you the update of whatever.
I know, but they're all, every previous incarnation of this that we have given the
That's right.
American public and internationally has been wrong.
I would say adjusted more than wrong.
Adjusted.
Maybe to Greg's credit, too, I've never heard of a top 60.
Thank you.
Well, how do we know it's not going to end up being 62 because he's going to think of two more on his way home because he didn't plan any of this
It
out?
would never be 62. It could bump to 60.
This segment is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours. And boy, am I happy the new DraftKings sports app is available in all 50 states because I ventured over to the app and I made a pick, a USA World Cup pick. Guys, I'm going both teams to score. The market price on that is plus 104. That's what I locked it in on. I think both teams score. I was really impressed with Australia. Their athleticism really flashed. Turkey is not supposed to look that flat-footed. And Australia, they came in as this counterattacking team that had some athletes and are efficient with their opportunities. They outclassed Turkey, which on the surface has way more talent. Now, the U.S., I think, will win this match.
Going to kick their ass tomorrow.
I think they will win this match, and the
I'm
U.S. will
worried.
score goals. But I'm worried about Christian Pulisic, who is dynamite in the one half that he played in.
That's a bad injury.
It's a bad injury when you get to his injury history. But when you have Tim Ream back there and you're going up against a counterattacking team with some good athletes, I think Australia does at least get one. I do count on the USA to win this match regardless of what's happening with Christian Pulisic, but I do think there's an interesting conversation to be had there. But we'll get to it later because, Dan, I have video right now of Jess at the parade.
Whoa.
What?
Yeah,
Jess has
Jess
video.
somehow
Jess
has
with
signal.
her phone. We send a mean with an army of people and resources. Jess with her phone joins us with successful video. Jess, thank you for joining us and thank you for saving the company and saving the day with your professionalism. Amin, he's an anchor around basketball's ankle. And thank you. I'm still worried about your internet. I'm also worried about the fact that you're spinning and your camera's out of control. Give us a live report from the parade. Thank you for joining us.
She looks great. That's great video.
Just dropped my phone. That was just user error, Dan.
Oh, we got a sentence of video.
She's back.
Yes! We're about a block away from Broadway, and there's so many people here that there's just a crowd watching the parade on a TV outside of Orange Theory because you cannot get anywhere near the parade route right now. It is a complete zoo down here.
Is that why you have successful Wi-Fi and Amin doesn't? Because you're not near the parade. You're not particularly close to where the parade is. You're just milling about with people on the outskirts of the parade.
I'm not that far from it. This guy is yelling F the Spurs, so apologies to the children at home listening to the Dan Le Batard Show. I'm not far from it, but I'm about as close as I can get without having to go through like a NYPD security checkpoint. So that's probably why the internet is not terrible right now.
Did you smell the marijuana smoke that just wafted over your shoulder and just got into your face from behind?
I am getting a contact high right now, and it's okay, Dan. The most important thing of the day already happened, which is I got a special New York Knicks edition I voted sticker for early voting this morning. A commemorative Knicks championship sticker for voting early.
Why you always got to put politics? Why? Why politics in sports? Why are you doing that?
You have 3 of those stickers?
That happens in New York.
2 forms of ID shouldn't be that hard.
We'll find more in 6 months.
Everyone clapped for me when I walked into the voting booth this morning because I was the first person in there. And they were like, do you want one of our Knicks stickers? And I pretended like I didn't know that obviously that was what I was there for. And I was like, oh, like, of course, thank you. And then on the way out, I was like, can I have one of those basketball stickers? So I got 2 stickers. But don't follow me.
I knew she voted
2
twice.
votes.
I knew it.
Yeah, 2 votes. Voted with a Blockbuster video card. That's all they are asking for.
Jess, is everybody behaving? Like, is it wild? What's going on?
Is everyone behaving far away from the parade?
So far, okay, if I show you down John Street about 1 block away, I don't know, my video is freezing, but 1 block that way.
No, that's it. That's video coverage live from the parade.
Wonderful.
That is good stuff. Can we check back in with you? Is Lehman around? Where is your fiance? Is he in an alley somewhere, intoxicated and not sleeping from 4 days ago?
Whose marijuana smoke do you think that was, Dan?
Okay.
I'm just kidding. It wasn't his, but
No.
yeah, he's at our apartment right now. He got out here at 6 o'clock this morning and couldn't get into the parade, so he went home.
Good God, Zaslow. Like it's got
Times like this, I really make you miss stop and frisk.
There's going to be a lot of unhappy people today that they can't even get near this thing. That I've never.
They seem pretty happy.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Have you ever heard of a sold-out parade?
Here's a tip for everyone that can't get in the parade. All the bars are open. Head to one. Get in there. Start day drinking. Trust me. It's what everyone who's at the parade is going to do after. Anyways, get a head start.
Now for equal time, Jess, you're at the Knicks parade. Are you going to go this weekend and report back to us from Raleigh for the Carolina Hurricanes parade?
I thought you were going to ask if I was going to go report on the Brooklyn Nets, who I forgot existed, honestly, until like 2 days ago. Man, what a sad time to be a Nets fan.
How insulting, seriously, how insulting is it, Dan, for the Nets as an organization? Jess is right. It's as if they don't even exist. Because
it's always like that.
Well, okay, but at least now they're actually in New York. They're not New Jersey. It's like the Knicks, they're the only team in New York. Nets are right there.
No, they're not. They've always been this. Everyone knows the Knicks are more important. Jessica, thank you. We appreciate the time. We appreciate the report. Jessica.
That's Priya.
That's it, Priya.
Easy. Settle down,
easy boy. Easy.
Settle down.
Did that come out of his mouth, or did he think that was
You
still
got
inside
catcalled.
of his head?
I said that in my head.
No, you said it out loud, Zaz. Wow, who's that? Congratulations, Priya. Zaz, keep
Zaz
some of
is
those
very happy
thoughts
for
to
you.
yourself. Jesus. Like, have private thoughts. Like, what's the matter with you? You can't have private thoughts?
I think actually there's nothing the matter with me.
I agree. Good job, Zaz.
We should keep calling it Wi-Fi, too. I think that's a good look for us. We don't seem ancient at all.
Zaslow, you think that the way that you're expressing yourself around here is normal.
I think I'm very relatable.
I think in that moment you were very relatable to a lot in our audience.
Who's that?
I mean, I can't believe he forgot he was on the
He's
air.
never met Priya.
Viral thing where you say one phrase in different ways. That was the creepy way.
Yeah, that was like the Musburger Jen Serger way.
He forgot he was on the air. He got so comfortable.
What are you guys doing to Zaz?
J-Jack's absolute joy.
Look, Tone, what we're doing to Zaz is, yes, male lust is a thing that we are all familiar with here. Nobody is confused about that. However, some people disguise it in professional broadcast settings.
An open book.
Slightly better than that.
Could have just been asking. It was the inflection in his voice.
Yeah.
But the transcripts, he was, who is that?
He
Who's
was
that standing
just
next to you?
being
Who is that?
a journalist there by asking a question to satiate his curiosity.
Don't say that.
Well, I have a question for you guys.
Don't you satiate there.
How familiar are you with Christian Pulisic's injury of soft tissue injuries? Because this calf thing, guys, is a problem. He's training by himself. He's wearing a calf sleeve. And look, you know what happens when the calf starts getting injured, right? Everyone's going to fear Achilles. But here's something that I'm actually worried about. I'm not even so much worried about the calf. I'm worried about the rest of his lower body and the overcompensating he's going to do for a calf. That this is a player, guys, historically, I've seen this movie a million times. Once he gets a slight knock, the quad starts going, or maybe the hammy. It's not even the thing that is the central focus of all the news reports right now. And the way that he played in that first half, I told you, for us to get to where we hope to go in this tournament, Christian Pulisic has shown he is capable of being the best player, and he's going to need to be. And he absolutely was against Paraguay. A pull assist, he was breaking down the defense with ease. He is explosive. And for this injury to pop up at this time, I'm scared.
Zaslow, this is what I'm scared of, okay? And some of it's not fair. It's going to be emotional, and what I'm about to say now isn't actually reasonable. The last 30 years of American soccer have almost next to nothing to do with what this team is today. But this team today, I do not trust because of the last 30 years of American soccer. Because what I saw in the first game, though hugely hopeful and exciting, I don't trust because of 30 years of these guys aren't good enough, and I don't believe that result means a deep run into the tournament. However, if Christian Pulisic, who is America's star striker, if he wants to play in this game where Ronaldo and Messi now are, and Harry Kane and all of these other people who are starring at the beginning of this, the American team cannot, will not be what I want it to be and hope it will be. If that guy isn't the striker America keeps expecting him to be, and that injury worries me, and I don't trust the first result because I got 30 years before it, but it's not fair what I'm doing. People are hopeful about the first result. They're not processing the last 30 years. They were also attacking when he left the game.
Well, he's an attacking winger. Balogun's our striker right now, and he bagged a brace, and he netted that second goal with flair that he didn't have to.
And what a goal by Reyna.
Yeah, that was incredible, too. It's like Reyna's like, can I score here? Should I? You're going to let me do this? But where Pulisic does his best work is on that wing. And Pochettino did a very good job in saying, Christian, I know what should do best. We're going to let you operate in space. Now, that is a lot more stress on what is a very fragile body. When he is on, when he is right, when he played his best healthy stretch, he was AC Milan's best, most consistent attacking player. He is capable. He played for Chelsea in a Champions League semifinal against Real Madrid, and he was the best attacker on that pitch. All right, and that was Real Madrid. Christian Pulisic is fully capable of meeting the ceiling that everyone projected upon him. But when he starts rolling, there's always these injuries, and they linger, and he's never fully fit. And once you get one, they start compounding. And this couldn't happen at a worse time because he's 27 years old now. Guys, this is the prophecy fulfilled. It has to be now. This isn't a guy that we keep projecting anymore. He has proven in Europe he can be a top quality player. And he has to be for the U.S. And if he's not fully fit, there is no replacing him.
Can they win the group without him?
Yes, because of that first performance and who's in their group. They got a favorable group. And look, they have some replacement options, but then you look at the decision to not bring some attacking punch in the form of Diego Luna, and you second-guess that a little bit. Tim Weah, I think, can be capable. Serginho Dest has been really threatening. They have attacking wings that have shown you so far in this tournament. They can break down a defensive-minded team like Paraguay, but there is no Christian Pulisic, guys. There is no replacing him. There is no one on that level when he is fully fit.
It looks like Fat Joe is performing right now from the top of one of the buses.
Look, I just want to tell you, I enjoyed talking to Jessica from that parade. She got great friends.
What Mike is saying about this American team, I feel pretty alone right now in having skepticism where everyone has patriotism. And Mike is saying, as you guys say, oh, they're going to kick the shit out of X, Y, and Z. I'm like, I'm preparing for disappointment here, okay? Because soccer in this country, never mind the World Cup, I am preparing for the possibility, like, man, you guys are awfully confident about this, and all I heard was years and years and years of doubt about all of this, and now a 4-1 result, while exciting, I'm like, should I trust that? Because they looked like one of the best teams in the tournament in their first game. You win by 3 goals. That's generally how that's going to look. But I didn't recognize this team based on how it's been covered for the years before this.
Is there not a scenario where, and not to get ahead of ourselves, but is there not a scenario where because 32 teams advance the knockout round and it's another 6 days after tomorrow until their final match game, group game, that they don't play Pulisic tomorrow?
I think that's a possibility.
They already got 3 points.
And I think you absolutely have to consider the player's injury history. And right now, they have a very favorable draw. It's actually really fun to see what the round of 32 would look like, banger after banger after banger. And the team with the easiest draw presently would be the United States playing Qatar. And
you keep doing that, and you need to stop doing that.
They'd be playing Qatar,
I know,
which would be a real sweetheart draw. But Dan and Zaz, like, that was, I think, pretty irrefutably the single best U.S. men's national team performance in a game of that stature ever.
Everyone's saying that.
Ever. And this is a team that in the Confederations Cup beat Spain's golden generation, and Tim Howard stood on his head. That wasn't this. We felt like we survived that
Oh, my
match.
God,
That was
no, this was winning. That was winning a game with a keeper. This was winning a game with attacking, but I don't
kicked
trust
their
them.
ass. And I'm with you. I was super skeptical headed into the Senegal game. I was dying for a reason to hope, and this is the cliche about American soccer fans is that they're irrational about their team's stature in the world, and yet they did a 180 over the last few years, and it was kind of toxic around the team. But you see how they played against Senegal. You see how they responded to that early goal that they conceded to Germany. And you see the way that they played against a pretty sound Paraguay team that had some big victories over Argentina and over Brazil in qualifying, all right? Paraguay's not a bad team. They kicked their ass. They looked incredible. They were taking on multiple defenders. I don't think we've seen a dribbling performance. This is not what America does, Jack. We don't dribble with the ball at our feet well. And that was the best, not just in American history, that's been the best World Cup performance in terms of taking defenders on in 10 years.
The attacking is something to get excited about because when you have advantages that allow us to feel dominant at soccer, the things that Mike Ryan is saying, I remember the Howard game. He was pelted. You're talking about a keeper getting pelted and you're just feeling you're so grateful that Landon Donovan can eke out a goal so you win a game while your goalie is getting pelted. This is you looking like the great powers in a single game where you're controlling the ball and always on the attack. But when we talk in this sport about star power and in the first day or the first week of games here that were so exciting and all of the stars, except for one, Ronaldo, all of the stars are doing amazing things. Why are you, Mike, morally abhorrent, why are you telling me that Ronaldo over here with Portugal, that team can lose its star and be better? And when I tell you this injury really worries me because I don't think that they can look like that without that player, that they need their star to be the star, because you guys have been telling me since you were doing boring interviews with this guy multiple times because you were doing a podcast with him and trying to make him interesting. This guy's the future of American soccer. I'm not going to just shrug at that injury.
You shouldn't. And form in this sport is everything. It's true. It's predictive. And right now, the form of the United States men's national team is about as impressive a match day one as you've seen in that tournament. They look like they can legit be a threat as a host nation and not without him. I'm with you. I think we can beat Australia without Christian Pulisic. Given how close I've followed his career, given what I saw at Chelsea and how I saw this year get undone by stuff that happened off the field and fitness, I would be very cautious here. Because a diminished Christian Pulisic, it's a totally different player.
So let me ask the question this way of you guys so that you understand what I'm saying when I'm saying this is not a player that you can lose if you actually want to do anything in this tournament. If I told you before this tournament started, which would you have taken, Mike? I'm going to give you a 4-1 victory in the first game, but I'm going to take Pulisic out for the tournament. I'm going to give you the hope of maybe these guys can do it without him, and America will get excited, and it'll be the perfect start that you want to the tournament. However, Pulisic's not going to be available to you as a 100% person that you need to be a star in this tournament. Would you have taken that as a good result the first game?
No, because our identity is not a team that's going to be defensively stout and counterattack you and try to get a chance and win a game late and have a keeper that you can depend on. We don't have a keeper really that we can depend on for the first generation maybe ever. You know, I'm surprised at who our goalkeeper number one is. It's a debate. That's never been a debate here. We have decided that we are going to be an attacking footballing nation. And key to that is the guy that is capable on his best day of being better than everyone on the pitch at his job. And if we have taken on that identity, you need him 100%. I would sit him against Australia. I would risk a draw. Hell, I'd risk a defeat. I think given what we saw with him playing his best ball,
question, man.
That's what I think. I mean, if the Turkey-Paraguay game tomorrow was before
you guys are
the U.S. game.
You guys are going to play with advancing? You guys are going to play with advancing? You're going to rest your starters playing for...
Well, the format is different in this World Cup. With the expanded field, basically with that performance against Paraguay last week, the United States virtually guaranteed that they are through
because of the goal differential.
Yeah. But they're pretty much guaranteed to get through. So I do think it's a little bit different here as we look at this game against Australia. I think without Christian, the United States is fully capable of winning that game. I think they would win that game. So given everything that I've told you, I think the smart play here is, and I am not, maintenance guy. I am not rest our guys for another day guy. Typically, especially in this sport, it's a World Cup. You don't have a lot of opportunities to perform well in it. I think if the situation were different, I'd be ready to take that risk. But 4-1, with your path virtually guaranteed to the knockout stage already, right now we're playing with house money. We're talking about playing the weakest draw possible, and that's a great position to be in. I think we're fully capable of being able to win this game.
Zaz, I think we will get into other things here, okay? But what we're talking about at the start of the World Cup for the United States is the best possible result on the scoreboard, the worst possible thing outside of him being injured in a way that for sure is out, has happened to the team already in one game. To be clear, it's the worst possible thing. And now I find myself in the weird position where people are hopeful and patriotic of asking you guys, should I be worried that no one's worried? Because when you start talking to me about sitting this guy to rest him because you're good with whatever happens here, because you're probably going to advance, and then if they do not advance and somehow they cough up the entire thing because they're like being careful when the stakes on all this are every 4 years you get to go out there and let's see if you can get a goal. 4 years you're waiting for a goal, and we're going to start resting people and stuff. Not that criticism is the most important thing that a real leader should care about, but if they don't make it and they do what you guys are suggesting, they will look like fools before the world.
You did acknowledge that no one seems too worried, and that's the part that I would want to lean on, because the way that you're talking about it, as if there is a real problem with Pulisic right now, and no one seems to be hinting at that. Like, everyone seems to think he's going to be okay.
Because I'm telling you, what they're doing is they're taking this knock at face value, which is, well, it's just a little knock on his calf. He should be fine. And what I'm helpfully applying here is the context of this man's history,
whole body,
which is where that lower body starts overcompensating the second one part of his body is diminished, and he puts a strain on muscles that tend to give out on the young man. So I think that performance against Paraguay afforded you the opportunity. And it's not just that performance that we had. It's how flat-footed and terrible Turkey looked in their match against Australia. You have options now. If you need to win that game for a better draw, I like the United States with Christian Pulisic to win that game now against Turkey. And I absolutely play him in that match if we need to.
You're going with Turkey, huh?
Yeah. I eat Turkey on Thanksgiving.
The things that happened in there, Zaz, that I want to bring to you for your perusal. I don't think you're the most qualified to discuss this, but I don't want to go to Chris Cody.
But I might be.
Either. I don't think you are, actually, because the way that Mike is saying both Qatar and what most of us would say is Paraguay or some form, and it's not quite Paraguay, which is what he's doing, seems to be making Chris Cody flinch every time he hears it. Makes your nose.
Paraguay, yeah. That happens sometimes.
Makes your nose move.
Like I'm smelling something.
Yeah, I bet you are.
He's doing this with his coverage. He's putting these inflections and these flares on it, and I find it morally abhorrent.
I like to call people by how they prefer I call them. You know?
Turkey.
That's what they decided.
And then you threw in a turkey sandwich, which I don't think they would appreciate.
Turkey sandwich.
I don't think Turkey would appreciate your turkey sandwich.
Turkey is fun.
How do you feel about how he's saying Qatar?
Qatar.
I don't like that.
How do you feel about I feel that Mike can be accused of cultural appropriation, that he's not honoring Qatar.
I feel like we don't go to Zaz on this though.
That they shared a great. They shared a great.
I thought he was going to say, "Hey, who's that?"
They shared a great story on during the DR Congo match against Portugal yesterday. That the broadcasters are calling them Dr. Congo. I mean, it's not exactly the name, but I appreciate the effort.
Do you?
Yeah, look.
We're not appreciating your effort here.
Well, I think this gets me to a larger point, and I do talk about it on Morally Abhorrent with my friend Nick Verlaney. It's that I am so pleasantly surprised and made hopeful by this World Cup now that we are underway. It's named Morally Abhorrent for a reason. FIFA, their price gouging practices, unchecked capitalism, what's going on here in the United States, how people globally feel about us. But here's one thing that people discounted. The American people themselves. When the American people themselves, especially soccer fans, interact with all these new cultures coming over to our country, we immediately have what is presently the most important thing in our lives in common. And I really enjoyed my trip to New York. I know the tickets are expensive. If you are considering making the sacrifice to get to a game, because it's the best sporting event I've ever been to, and I've been to Talladega, folks. All right? But walking, I'm glad you asked. NASCAR Nate, Eagle Eye, 10-Day Tony, College Mike, the Watermelon I was walking the streets of New York on Monday. I went to Brooklyn for 2 watch parties, and then I went back to my hotel, and I just wanted to take in the city because I was staying near Times Square, and I know a lot of people wince at that, but that's a central hub with all these tourists and all these
Amateur
countries.
hour from you.
I wish we had video there from Amin.
But it was pretty electric, and I spent that night during the evening matches just walking into bars to soak it all in. And during the Iran match, which was an excellent match, by the way, and a great human interest story, Iran versus New Zealand, I walked into a bar that had a heavy Iranian presence, and man, it's just like I know everything in the news stream and all these current events. You'd think that there'd be all these preconceived notions when you walk in. You think you'd get a cold shoulder, and you're high-fiving Iranians when they equalize, and you realize that you're all pulling the same rope. Generally, people are decent to one another. And I think the takeaway from a lot of Europeans that I'm seeing is the American people and the food. The American people are rising to the occasion where the country and FIFA have let people down.
Well, this is a broader conversation because we're only a week into this, and somehow, some way, everyone's going to try and make the argument, especially sports fans, hey, when the games get here, there will be the cleansing. You will feel it. And we've been talking about the emotion about this because there is nothing else in the world like what Mike just described there, which is you walk into an Iranian bar at this time in life, and even if you do not speak the same language, this time of year, every 4 years, you do. Like you're walking into a bar where there's a whole lot of foreign division being sowed by the entities that have the power, but can inside of that, the people unite to make it feel like something different because they all understand that you can try and contaminate and corrupt the games with your moneyed ads and your hydration breaks and the most corrupt government in the history of sports, meeting the most corrupt government in the history of America, to send the Iranians back home to Mexico to train or to keep the Somalian referee out or to make America inhospitable.
Yeah, terrorism ties.
In ways that American people aren't always that kind of inhospitable when you put them in front of each other and they see their commonalities instead of their differences because they're fluent in the same language, even if they don't speak the same language. Because who doesn't understand that I can't walk into a bar in any other subject matter of any kind and have that without a word where I'm jumping up and down now excited in a way I'm not when my kids are born or when my kid's graduating or whatever. I'm jumping up and down and it's 0-0.
It is the world's largest cultural exchange program. Even if you don't like soccer, you cannot deny that it is the greatest sporting event that our planet is fully capable of. It represents the best of us when you get down to the level of the fan. It is a beautiful thing. Every 4 years, I look forward to the Men's World Cup because it is a pop culture mile marker. I love the soundtracks. I love learning about new cultures. I love trying new food. Soak it all in because being a host nation is especially a unique and special experience that'll give you something to remember for generations to come.
Zaz, America by the world is often hated for a number of different reasons, but also often marveled at because of the simple amount of excess and gluttony we have everywhere. So, for example, when it comes to sports, we are presently watching on the televisions New York celebrating something the way that many of the countries that are in this tournament, they don't have 50 sports. They've got this one. Mm-hmm. Like Colombia doesn't export a bunch of different sports to people. The Colombian people care about this one thing. It's not It's not a bunch of sports. We've got them all over the place. Like, we've got 50 things like this that America can care about on any given day, more excess than anywhere else. And we're playing against these countries that feel about their teams the way everyone in New York, their one team, the way everyone in New York feels about that team, which is one of 50 teams they have in that city.
It was an incredible energy to be in New York City with everyone still post-coital from the NBA championship and watch all these other countries converge that are in their own version of the NBA finals right now. It was a special energy. I don't think the final should be there just because the stadium has its limitations, but in terms of the infrastructure and everything it's got going on to be able to host the world, New York, I understand why they settled on it.
Other nations do have hockey, but I want you guys to consider what I'm saying in terms of what the investment is on identity. I told you the story that when Venezuela won the World Baseball Classic, I was a little bit floored by the sheer number of Venezuelans that were coming up to me with an enthusiasm that made me realize, oh, like, of course, they don't have another thing that they care about like this baseball team. It's not there are 7 sports like this that we care about. This is the one that's passed down every family, every team. Why are you grabbing the gearhead? You want to get me off of this loving monologue for the world?
Speaking of cultural exchange programs,
I can't do this with
if you're in town for the World Cup, hey, the Scots, I see you.
Not Talladega.
Why don't you head over to San Diego because we get left turns and some rights at a naval base. In San Diego, that's right, for the first time ever, NASCAR is having a street course at a naval base, and it's in the beautiful city of San Diego. And guys, Denny Hamlin comes in riding red hot. I mean, he is racing his best of his career right now at this tender old age. It has to be his year. However, a little bit of an oddity if you check the DK Sports app, you have a driver that is favored, and not just favored because he's got the smallest plus juice. No. He is minus money right now. Shane Van Gisbergen, the single greatest road course driver perhaps ever. All right. The next closest to him is Connor Zilic, who has had a disastrous season thus far, and I regard him very highly. I think he can make a good race out of it. If you're looking for Denny Hamlin to keep the streak going, look elsewhere. This really isn't his jam. This is all about SVG, and it is all about the amazing scenery that we are going to see at San Diego's incredible naval base. Gearhead is presented by NASCAR. NASCAR is bringing horsepower and heart-stopping action to San Diego. Don't miss the NASCAR Cup Series Battle It Out on Naval Base Coronado this Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern on Prime.
I've officially seen more celebrities and former Knicks than current Knicks.
So many former Knicks.
How do we feel about Carmelo? Like, I feel like if you're like Larry Johnsons of the world, like I feel like if you're a certain age, you can be in this. I feel like Carmelo is too.
No, he's the king of New York.
He's too recently connected to being a Knick player. Like, you don't get to be in this parade. You didn't win a championship.
How do you feel about Stephon Marbury being on the float?
Like, he's almost so far away. I don't know what I'm doing there, but I just still kind of associate Carmelo as relatively recent he was playing.
The Marbury one is always going to be the weirdest to me, and I understand. Marbury is a New York kid. He's from New York, so I understand that. But the Marbury one is always weird to me because he was the best player on the Knicks during their most embarrassing years. Lawsuits.
We've done this before, though. He is so proudly New York.
I know, he's a
with
New
his
York
climb.
kid. I know.
And I actually kind of dig that this parade is bringing all the lovable losers and parading them around town because they were there for the suffering. They were there wearing the weight of expectation at the New York Knicks franchise, and they get to have their moment too. They were some of the most joyous celebrations there. And guys, keep in mind, these are where legendary parade moments are made. Brett Hall, yeah, he didn't win a Stanley Cup with the St. Louis Blues. He didn't get to enjoy that with that market. So when the Blues actually have one of the more improbable Stanley Cup victories of our time, you parade around Brett Hall, and he gives you this gem.
Gloria, Gloria, I think I got your number, Gloria.
Which legend is going to do that today?
I have my money on like there's always going to be the Nick who is like, had too much to drink. He's got the shirt off, acting a little bit of a fool.
It looked like Josh Hart was.
Josh Hart's at the very
smoking
top of my
something.
list. Yeah.
I don't want to throw stones, but it's legal there. But it looked like he was smoking something.
Josh Hart, very top of my list.
You know, there are celebrities on these floats now. I saw Chris Rock and Tracy Morgan. But
Yep,
will
saw
Spike,
Tracy Morgan, yep.
Will Spike Lee be on these floats?
No,
because you know the relationship between him and Dolan, not exactly great.
Yeah, I have not seen Spike yet.
I saw Ben Stiller walking around there. I saw Fat Joe walking around there.
I saw Tracy Morgan and Mariska Hargitay.
Oh, is my girl Mariska on the one?
She's on
Who's that?
She's on the Jalen Brunson float.
Of course.
The
Whoa,
report
who's that? Well, you know who that is. You ever been to a parade? Champion parade?
Yeah.
All right, you want to tell us that you? Okay, go ahead.
We were on a float.
Oh, you know what? I've been at one. I was in one. That's right. Now that you ask.
Mike and I were too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was in two.
Did you have your own car?
I didn't
We
have my
were
own
on
car,
one.
but I was on a double-decker bus with Joy Taylor.
I had my own Lamborghini.
Oh, wow.
You were like awkwardly sitting in the back.
I
like,
was. I
sitting
was
up.
on like the hood,
Yeah.
waving everybody. That's right. Me and my wife and my son. He was 3, I think,
Look
at
at
the time.
that.
Wow, that's
right.
awesome.
I was it. Wait. Oh yes. Hello. Good to see you too. Yep. I was waving to everyone.
Well, they're like, who's that?
Nope. They were saying, Zaslow, we love you.
We were trying to plan one for the Cyclones, but they all have day jobs and they couldn't call off.
The
Whoa,
report.
who's that?
We'll tell you how dildos helped a man escape from alligator Alcatraz and talk with the Florida Democratic candidate caught up in a scandal that led to an election fraud complaint, forcing him to drop out of a high-profile congressional race. All new because Miami.
Every single Thursday on the Dan Le Batard Show, you can watch a new episode of The Pitch Clock. So go to the Le Batard Show YouTube, check out the playlist tab, and go watch every single episode we've ever made, and you can play trivia with us. This week, we have a brand new game between Chris Cody and myself. Ethan, as always, in charge of it, and I'm trying to get hot in this one. But speaking of getting hot, the Miami Marlins are one of the best teams in the month of June, and so I brought in one of my very best friends, fellow Marlins broadcaster Kelly Sacco. She is as good as it gets in baseball media, and she is here to explain why Olo, as Greg Cody would call him, Otto Lopez, deserves to be an all-star. Plus, what's made the Marlins tick, what's allowed them to turn things around, who some of the unsung heroes are. All that and more on this week's episode of The Pitch Clock, only on the Dan Le Batard Show.
This week on Mystery Crate, I give you the worst piece of sushi that has ever been created. And a lot of people say no, I say yes. Plus, a lot of good stuff with the World Cup that Fuentes went to Game 1. We also have our book reports / PowerPoint slides / fun fact thing that we were given last second.
Yeah, I learned
no.
of that right before this.
What do you mean no?
No, it was the last week.
Okay, it was last second.
It was a little last second.
It was last second,
But
Rose.
you could see the disparity in our graphic design skills. I'm really impressed with my own, if I'm going to be honest with myself. We also talk about what TV shows we think each person in this room could be a newly introduced character into.
Rose, we also
Is that
try
the right
what kind of
grammar?
chips?
I think so.
Jew chips.
So tune in
Two
for
mystery crates.
Jew chips.
Jew chips. Delicious.
Jeremy Tachet's pitch clock and baseball in general going to be even more segregated than baseball and Jeremy is usually around here. It has been made and it is ready, but it will be hanging and dangling off of the show instead of inside of the show. You can find it wherever it is that you find these things, but it won't be inside of our show over the course of hours 1, hours 2, hours 3. But it's good, and it's baseball, and it's segregated.
I've never seen it.
Juju is going to join us earlier than usual because we have to get to the polls and we also have to do something else with the post game. So Juju will be here shortly in order to update the polls. But I really did want to put in front of you guys the incredibly delicious majesty of being given early in a tournament where Portugal, this is what they have in sports every 4 years. This is their big thing to the world, and their best player that gets exported to the world is, by Mike's suggestion and the suggestion of many others, Bench the Legend is happening right off the top because of how a favorite performed in the first game or underperformed in the first game. And here, when you think about players getting power over the course of whatever has happened to sports, internationally and nationally, okay? Here is Roberto Martinez, the head of Portugal, telling you that he is an administrative assistant for the greatest player in the world, because when he's asked, hey, have you considered benching him? He got in the way of the goal-scoring chance last time. His quote is, it makes no sense to get the best scorer in world football out in a game that you need goals. Your questions, media, make no sense. You're questioning this human being who is old, his coach, who works for him. Don't get it twisted. Like, I understand that all of you think, it's team sports. No. Roberto Martinez works for Ronaldo. You talk about insult, Zaz? He's sitting here defending the guy right now, game one, telling you it makes no sense for a favorite in this tournament, one of the best teams in the world, and the only thing Portugal has, makes no sense to bench guys. Stop. Don't bring your sports radio shit around here. Respect the legend. I don't care what you think. Ronaldo's my guy.
If the coach says something so definitive like that, then that's it. Like he's never going to have him come off the bench. That was... He said that you're stupid if you're not going to play the greatest goal scorer in the world. So you can't then go back on something like that.
Sure you can. You absolutely can. But also, I don't think this needs to come from the coach. I think this needs to come from Cristiano himself. But Roberto Martinez is on his way out at Portugal. This is the final World Cup, not just for Ronaldo at Portugal. It's the last World Cup for Roberto Martinez, who has been successful on the international stage and on the club stage. Like, he's going to go on. He's even been rumored for a very long time to be the next U.S. men's national team head coach. So he's got options.
I'm a Pochettino guy.
Why are you guys, though, skipping right past this part? Mike, I mean you no offense when I ask you this question. When you say Ronaldo himself has to do it, I'm going to ask you, what the bleep are you talking about? No player in his circumstance has the self-awareness to be like, yeah, I'm an all-time legend. Let me go here. I can't help. Like, what are you talking about?
He's an all-time legend that can help. He can help. He can help, I think, later in games. Look, I don't want to overreact either. I thought DR Congo played inspired. Early on, Portugal was just outclassing a team that was all effort. And I think if you look back on that performance, Congo is going to be like, man, we left some goal-scoring opportunities on the table. Like, I look back and I'm like, man, they were wasteful. They could have won that match. But I don't want to overreact to one match, and I'm not. This was a narrative headed into this.
I know a lot of people are questioning him, but like I really just – can you give me the example on the comp? What you're asking Ronaldo to do, can you give me in the history of American sports someone who's done it?
That's what I'm wondering. Like, is there no scenario?
Because you're asking him now to do it in the single most important thing. It's not even a random guy doing it. Like, yeah, load management. But give me the guy who puts up his hand, who's like an all-time immortal and says, you know what? It's better for the team if I don't play.
Clayton Kershaw. Like, I'll assume a role for this team.
That's a good one.
All-time great. one of the best pitchers, some would argue the best pitcher of our generation, a titan in that franchise. He accepted a role.
LeBron James said, I'm not good enough to be 1A for the Lakers. Luka's team now, I'm going to be a third piece.
It's not the bench, though.
And then as soon as the season
Might as
ended,
well be for LeBron.
But then as soon as the season ended, he said on a podcast, I'm always the first option.
But it's not. I mean, it's not the bench. And Kershaw, I guess in that one, it's so irrefutable because the number he was getting pelted. Right, he's a guy with a career ERA under 2, and you can't even argue that he's summoning something because the radar gun shows you that it's 7 miles an hour slower than it used to be.
Look, there's another option here on the table for Ronaldo, and that's play much better than he played. Right? He was pretty terrible. I don't really see a scenario in which he could be that bad again. And their opponent is lesser. They play Uzbekistan next. Uzbekistan looked last night like they're susceptible to opponents scoring on them. So maybe that's a get-right opponent for Cristiano Ronaldo and Portugal. However, this is not going to go away. It's not. Even if he has a goal, it'll only diffuse it for a little bit because entering this World Cup, the only way this tournament gets a little screwy for that team is if the Ronaldo thing gets in the way. And yesterday, he was physically getting in the way. Discombobulated, totally not on the same page with his teammates. His teammates that are all about precision. Guys, they had the game-winning goal. Ronaldo deflected the pass.
The teammates hate him, right?
No, he's a legend.
Chris Cody,
he's the greatest footballer
what
that
are you
country's ever
distracted
produced.
Just watching the parade.
Is it Spanish television? Because
No, actually, it's the
you're
parade.
gazing with awe and distraction.
I wish it was Spanish
You're
television.
not listening to anything Mike Ryan is saying. Nothing. You're not.
I did have a panic when I saw
we
myself
caught
on
you.
screen.
We all caught you on camera, just staring longingly at something on television. It was just a parade. You had a big smile on your face, and it wasn't with anything. It's not because you were enjoying our show.
Right. That's right.
Well, I think for the casual that is paying attention to soccer maybe as much as Chris Cody is right now, the cool storyline so far of this tournament is the narratives around the superstars wearing the weight of the badge on their shirt. Can Harry Kane be England's captain to carry them to the promised land? And it wasn't just the goal scoring, it was the passing.
The defense.
The defending
at
was
the end.
outrageously good. The entire match, him and Jude Bellingham tracking back, leading by example. Messi, obviously, still trying to prove he's the GOAT, trying to be the best player. Mbappe, a terrible first half, and then in the second half, shows you entirely what he is capable of. He is a dynamite player. Lamine Yamal, not great in what was one of the stories of the first round. Spain drawing against it. If you want to talk about a human interest story, what's happening with Cape Verde right now and their goalkeeper that started with I want to say 7,000 followers.
He was so great. He's 40 years old. His mom couldn't get in, right? His mom couldn't get in for the game.
Dan, you want to know how many followers he has? The last I checked,
No, we did this. It's, yeah.
10.7 million followers.
He's a really good follow.
Yeah, and he started following all sorts of women. Maybe even just his friend. Who knows? Everyone's on the table right now for this guy. There's so many great stories. Lamine Yamal, who was a dynamite player as a teenager, still is, by the way, but at 16 years old was Spain's best player. If he gets right, Spain's going to need him right now. All the stars are stepping up. And then you have Ronaldo, who we just chewed on the storyline around him, but he has an opportunity to step up. The names that, if you're familiar or kind of familiar with soccer, recognize they're all at the center of every great story right now in this tournament. It's why it's the best.
That's right. It's Thursday Thunder is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Juju, go ahead.
I like Thunder Thursdays as a name.
Yeah, Thunder Thursdays go crazy. Last week we was one away again. The one away boy strikes again. But this week, the dream. We got the fever. East Coast versus West Coast beef. Caitlin versus Angel tonight. But everybody knows two things. One, my boy Zaslow is not a cook. Stop playing with my boy. And number two, I don't bet on the dream because my heart is too involved. So tomorrow night, my sister Satu Sabali will get over 11.5 pints tomorrow. Lock it in. Next leg, my sister Anissa Morrow, dab, over 8.5 rebounds. She been on a double-double streak. You better lock her in right now. And last leg, my sister Gabby Williams for over 15 points. They got Olivia Miles and the Lynx coming in town. And if you know anything about Valhalla, they don't play that stuff in there. Lock in Gabby Williams. The crown is yours.
Juju, can you get the polls ready for us? We're going to get to them in a second, but first, Amin is calling in on, I don't know if this is an old-fashioned landline from Hoboken, but we do not have video from the parade. We've got Amin somewhere on a telephone, even though we've sent him and an army of people to cover the parade. There is the ambient parade noise. Amin, can you give us a not visual in 2026 when everyone wants to see everything report that is old-timey war correspondent from an AM radio from New York about the parade, please?
Yeah, I'm calling from a payphone, by the way. Dan, you keep apologizing all the time to the audio audience. Oh, sorry, we're seeing these things, but you can't see it. Guess what? Today's their day. Hey, audio audience, you're getting the full work because guess what? Nobody can see what I'm seeing. And what I'm seeing is an amazing day. Man, there are people throwing full toilet rolls out the window to people down on the street so they can then throw it back and then have the whole toilet roll.
They do that all the time.
I saw. What's up?
They do that all the time over there. A nightmare.
Well, also got the Wu-Tang Clan was on a float. They were performing live on the float. I've never seen that before. We had a whole concert. It was kind of crazy. Me and Sean saw people commandeer a fire truck. That's right, a fire truck, an FDNY fire truck. People on top of it. We saw people on top of police vans. It is absolutely chaos. But I looked at Sean and I said, you know how I know this is a real special day? Because everybody was nice, even the cops. I've never seen Thank you. I've never seen NYPD be this polite and cordial and patient despite people doing all sorts of things. We actually saw some dude jump the barrier, get caught. They kind of hemmed him up, and then they let him know. And they say, hey, if you just go back, everything's cool. And so he got up and he walked back. It was just an amazing sight to see. Usually that guy's got stitches and he's going in the lockup, but not today.
What a heartwarming story. A guy who,
broke the law,
was allowed to break the law in front of the police, and it was okay. He was just told to go back, and New York has won.
We tried warning you.
At everything. Can we get someone here to throw a roll of toilet paper from the highest point in this building at some point?
I'll do it.
Look at Mike's face right now. This seems
That's
like a
the
bad
thing,
idea.
The part you guys are getting, someone threw it back. Like back up to the window, and the guy caught it too. I was like, "What the hell?"
What a chooch from that guy!
I mean,
I know.
What else have you seen? Are we going to you again here in the last 20 minutes? Because I was hoping for more reports from there, and I understand that we're limited because it's so crowded. What else do we need to know from the scene?
Well, I gave you the report of the day, which is that the parade was stalled because literally they couldn't get to the start of the parade route because there were so many people in the streets. As we kind of discussed the technical difficulties, I don't think you guys really grasp how many human beings are in a very small air radius here in Lower Manhattan. We saw Black Hawk helicopters flying above. This is crazy. I've never seen New York like this. And again, I cannot stress enough. No one was angry. Thank you. No one was angry. No one was out of sorts. There were no fights. No arrests, nothing. Everyone was kind of cool and chill about it. And you know what? That's the report worth making. Also, I saw someone with a Raymond Felton jersey just walk by.
Juju,
was it Raymond Felton?
We'll get to the polls here with Juju in a second. And I actually want some Giannis commentary from Amin at the parade. But just quick follow-up. The commandeering of a fire truck.
Yeah.
That's it. That's my question. What they did? What they took a fire? They took a fire truck.
They took over a fire. They didn't drive it, but they took it over. They were on top of it and dump it up and down and go oh. And by the way, it was a block from the firehouse. So I don't even know that the fire department didn't know about it, but they let it happen.
Are you embarrassed at all that Jessica had video from her phone and that Sean McGill is fumbling around in a bag that the authorities are going to think is dangerous?
No. It all depends on where she's at. I'm on the phone, brother. Thank you. It all depends on where she's at. Where we were, we're in I hate the poor choice of words here. We're literally at ground zero.
Not literally?
literally at ground zero. Yes, I'm looking at it right now.
Are you actually at a payphone? You're joking about a payphone, right? There's not a payphone there.
Buddy, cell phones are not working out here. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
So
you guys are like, oh, hell, it's pixelated. There's nothing. There's no signals.
Okay, they've commandeered the fire
Finally.
truck. All right, so it's an actual you found a payphone. That's a functioning, working payphone in America.
Yeah, and you guys put me on hold for 10 minutes. I got to listen to you guys complain about Ronaldo. Who cares? Who cares?
Okay. Good commentary from you. Thank you. Thank you for critiquing our show from over
To
there.
be fair, it cost him $10 to listen to the Ronaldo thing. You could have listened for free.
Tell us about Giannis.
To be fair,
I mean, should Otto Lopez be an all-star?
Sedano Lopez? Who's Sedano Lopez?
Jeremy,
Jeremy sounds like shit too.
Jeremy, epically bad judgment by you there. Giannis Antetokounmpo from the parade. What are your thoughts, Amin?
Well, I think Milwaukee's just trying to shake the branches of one more time, see what falls out. Everyone expects this thing to be wrapped up by around the draft because the offers don't get better after the draft. So we've got, T-minus 6 days, 5 days before they're going to either shit or get off the pot. But again, I think everyone knows Miami has the best hand, and it's just an idea of is someone going to step up and propose something a little bit meatier?
I mean, Mike has spoken to people who are confident that the Celtics have offered up Jaylen Brown. My contention to that is, if they have offered Jaylen Brown, what are we still doing?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it all depends. Does Milwaukee want Jaylen Brown? And it might sound ridiculous, but we know that Giannis, who's a great player, when he played for the Bucks, they were a 500 team. They're, I think, 2 games under 500. So, Jaylen Brown ain't going to make that shit that much better. So, if you're Milwaukee, you have to be focused on how can I hit the reset button? How can I shed salary? How can I add picks? How can I add young talent? And that's kind of what the Miami package does. They're the only ones that can offer all three of those things. And that Hero's a guy that could play right now. Hawkins is a guy that could play right now. Ware is a guy for the future. And then there's some picks involved. And by the way, you're going to take some of these salaries. And that's the name of the game when you are starting over, when you are hitting your superstar and your books are all terrible. Getting another superstar who's making a ton of money doesn't really help because we've already established this team isn't that good.
Amin, thank you for the hard work from there. If you have anything in the next 18 minutes, we're almost out of time here. But
Good job, Sean McGill.
If anything is worth reporting from out there, yes?
Sean, do you have any more quarters? It's running out.
Okay.
Wait.
Yeah, get some more quarters when you can and call us back from a landline from the New York Parade and also the lowest rung on the show business ladder. Juju, I'm sorry to have kept you waiting so long on the polls, but it was very urgent that we go to no video in New York and a payphone in New York because, we've spent money to send people there, and then they spent more money put into a payphone to not get us video. Juju, what are the polls?
Well said. I'd like to remind the audience that these polls are sponsored by you. You are the lifeblood of these polls. So hop on over on Instagram, hop in the stories, and let your voice be heard. Have you ever heard of a sold-out parade? 88% of the audience says no, they have not.
The report.
Horny's ass. Last poll, is Mike Breen always in a suit? Even when he's naked. 97% of the audience says yes, and those are your polls.
The report. Thank you, Juju. We appreciate it. I've got to tell you guys, something happened to me here recently that caught me a bit off of guard. It really, I was surprised to see it swell up in me because at this point, in my career, I've told you before that I'm not, as I've aged, I haven't seen as much nobility or value in competing, in competing against others the way sort of Nick Wright does, where he wants to be better than Pablo and Mina, and everyone likes competition and there's nobility in it, but I just think there's a lot of room at this trough for everybody. Sports pays a whole bunch of people a lot of money to just talk about sports, and there are plenty of avenues where you can get a career in here without having to be better than everyone else. But I am officially now jealous of someone in the media. and it's one of our own. Mina Kimes is doing everything that she wants to do, including Vulture will call her up and just be like, hey, can you tell us what you're watching and listening to this summer? Because you're one of America's tastemakers, and we want to know what you think about everything. You get to win all the game shows. You get to be on a spelling bee. You get to do your dream job, which is somehow talking to Dan Orlovsky, when you can do anything you want anywhere in sports media, and you want to be breaking down the Rams' second quarter from week 8 because you didn't like what their nickels did. And Mina gets to do what Mina has created, a world where Mina does absolutely everything she wants. And I haven't felt jealousy toward a colleague that made me mad in probably 25 years, maybe more than that. Maybe it's been more than a quarter of a century since I felt that, because she's got more than us, and nobody gets to have more than us.
Boston Connor for me.
Yeah, same.
Those guys have fun. Man,
Let's give it up for them.
To be liked by ESPN. We kind of botched that.
Mina Kimes has not botched that. She is navigating the wonderful freedoms of being able to, I'm joking, of course, about everything that I said. I'm wonderfully happy for Mina because she has fought her way through the system with her weird tastes, and now everybody wants to know what she's listening to and reading this summer because she's a legitimate tastemaker. Zaz, you're going to have a hard time becoming that.
Nah.
What are you listening to, Zaz?
Pearl Jam.
What are you reading?
Well, I'm not reading that.
What are you watching these days?
Oh, I'm watching my stories. I'm watching Raw and SmackDown.
He-Man?
Oh, Dan. Oh my God, He-Man movie's so good. You want to go? I want to see it again. If you want to go, I'll go with you.
Wait. So you mentioned your stories.
Yeah.
You mean professional wrestling?
Yeah, of course.
Your core discipline is WWE, right?
Yeah.
Well, can I sweeten the pot for AEW, All Elite Wrestling? Because, guys, we might have a thing going on over here. Really? MJF tweeted the other day, catch as catch can. And he does feature a shirt that says better than you on the front, but, and you know it, on the back. Yeah. So I posted on social media last week, is MJF a huge Greg Cody guy? And AEW responded with a GIF of Greg Cody. All right?
Get the hell out of here.
All right. So this is all circumstantial, right? Let's play some audio here and video from this week's Dynamite.
Kyle style class as catch can, a little bit dirty wrestling.
Yeah, I would say so. Sure, I definitely think so. Yeah, I think we just established it as canon that Kaz's first name is Kyle.
Never know.
A catch can, you never know within 16 seconds? I don't know what I just did there.
Mad Dog.
Which is what Zaz does. Let's be real.
But I'm being told, Zaz said earlier, that catch can is a wrestling term.
It is.
So
It is.
Is there any scenario where this is just coincidence?
You never know.
Like you're saying, is there any scenario where your father stole a phrase? I think it's possible.
No.
You're going to do that
No,
to
he
him when
doesn't
he's
do
not
that.
here?
That's not
Weak
what's
and cowardice of
happening
you.
here. That's not. No, there's no possibility that's a coincidence. That happened on purpose. That was an homage. Some announcers throughout. This happens a lot in the minor leagues, actually, where broadcasters can get away with a little bit more. Minor league baseball people who travel a lot, they use our show phrases and make some inside jokes. But you guys are voting yes. That's something that's an homage to Greg Cody, or that's a coincidence.
You never know. At the end. Because catch as catch can, that makes sense. MJF recently tweeted that. People are being alerted to that as a wrestling phrase. But you never know in the cadence that it was delivered. Investigation still ongoing to find out if there are Greg Cody marks inside of All Elite Wrestling. But this is 2 consecutive weeks where it seems as though they're flirting with our audience and Greg Cody.
It's your turn, Michael Cole.
We mentioned earlier Sean Penn for some reason, and he's directing a movie that's coming out about friendship with Bradley Cooper. And I wanted to ask you guys something, because this is something that I have heard people talking about that I had no knowledge of, none, absolutely zero knowledge of, which is the pressures in Hollywood to change your face no matter how beautiful you are, to keep aging away, is something that everyone obviously in Hollywood is doing. But Bradley Cooper has done something that seems like he's either had a botched eyelid surgery or he was going for something with his eyes that has made him look a lot different than he used to look. And I just thought that Bradley Cooper was universally regarded as smoldering the way he was and didn't have to do anything to his eyes or his eyelids. What was wrong with his eyes before?
The one on the right, that's Ellen. That's not Bradley Cooper.
Put it on the poll. Does Bradley Cooper now look like Ellen?
That's Ellen.
Yeah, this is a good look for us.
Bradley Cooper is beautiful in whatever incarnation he chooses to take, including Ellen.
This studio in particular, super qualified to call Bradley Cooper unattractive.
I'm not calling him unattractive.
No, he ruined his face. No. Bradley Cooper no longer attractive. That's what we're saying.
Nope.
You heard it here from Jonathan Zaslow and Dan Le Batard. That's right.
It's not right. I am not saying that Bradley Cooper is now unattractive.
He's ugly.
He was perfect the way he was, and I don't understand why he would need. I was not aware. Were you guys aware that there is eyelid surgery? Cosmetic eyelid surgery.
He took him off?
Yeah.
Like, what did he do?
I don't know what he did.
Why would he go into the doctor and say, "Give me the Ellen"?
Yeah, it's not a great look. And there's some miraculous work being done right now in Hollywood. There are incredible miracles being done. They have the Death Becomes Her thing going on in Hollywood right now. And Bradley found a different choice.
Okay, I feel like what you guys did there is, in creative ways that mock me, not answer my question in any way, which I was not aware of any of what I've just been presented with. When I see Bradley Cooper and I'm like, that he doesn't look the same. What's happened there? It's not obvious in his face. What am I missing? And then I realized, oh, wait, there are a lot of people talking about why did Bradley Cooper do this? His face was fine the way it was.
Do you think it's like a barber shop where he walked in and there were pictures on the wall and he saw Ellen and he said, "Give me this"?
It's like number 36, please.
I'm going to go on the record and say I think Bradley Cooper figures this out. Yeah. I think we will all regard him as super handsome in short order. You know why? Money.
Yep. I think we should all keep an eye on it, though.
You're going to walk yourself out? Yeah.
He can't do that.
I liked it.
You liked it?
I liked it.
All right, you can go with him. You can go with him. Eyelid surgery. That's something you
So they
guys...
take them off, yeah? So he's just got open eyes forever?
Guys,
I
they
don't-
just raise your eyelids. Yeah. Like, if you start to feel self-conscious about the droopiness of your eyelids, they can raise them up. They can do that with anything.
I'm again going to say, wait a minute.
Wait a second.
Chris Cody
He
did
can't
not
do
go
that.
into the penalty box. He went and got the food first.
This is bullshit, man.
And it was good
Zaz
food.
looks
I
good.
saw it. Yeah, wait a minute. That's not a punishment.
They can't do that.
That's not a punishment if all they do is get time off and get to go make themselves a plate of food.
I'm
before
interrupting you. I'm talking over you.
Don't
Shouldn't
talk
you,
over him.
you
I'm talking
should
over
kick,
you.
You should kick us out for
All right,
not
fine.
respecting you.
Fine, get out of here.
That's barbecue.
Fine, everybody get out of here. You can all go. I'll sit here and talk to Jeremy. And
Well, that's a good idea.
And yeah, no, but they'll be blamed for ruining the show because they had to hurry up and eat instead of doing their jobs and instead of answering my question about eyelid surgeries.
I tried.
You did try, but I'm informing you guys of this. I don't believe that I was calling him unattractive. I don't think anybody heard. Very rarely has anyone ever heard me say someone else is ugly. Someone else has something wrong with them, like in their appearance. That's not something I've done. My body of work, I think, speaks for itself on this
Your
one.
body speaks for itself.
That too. That's right. My body speaks for itself. My body of work speaks for itself. My body not working speaks for itself.
Dan, if we can get into like a South Beach Sessions mode here, like a mini one, have you ever felt the pressures of Hollywood to change your face?
I don't understand what Bradley Cooper just did.
You avoided the question.
No, I don't feel the pressures to change my face. Tony, you think this is how I want this one to look? You think that this is what I decided on television when I'm flipping tires in a parking lot trying to get exercise and my trainer's like, holy shit, the cortisol is shooting to your face and I'm trying to lose weight and I look like I'm 40 pounds heavier than I was in the morning. You think I'm going for that? Trying to be a pioneer on fat faces through sports journalism so Windhorse could find work?
Again, I feel you've felt a lot of pressure throughout the years, especially post-pandemic, building a plane in the sky, all that stuff. That you would go
Hollywood collapsing.
You would go to a doctor and be like, hey, look, infrastructure, what can we do here to make me look a little bit more gaunt? Make me look a little bit more thin?
This is not the face I wanted. It's the one I was given.
Put that in the club.
It's the one I was given. You putting down your
What is he
plate,
chomping on over there?
You putting down a giant plate with cornbread to make that joke with food in your mouth, making fun of my fat face as if I haven't been a guide and a pioneer for your red one. Your red one physically filled with food.
Damn good food.
Oh, mac and cheese. His spoon fell.
I'll eat with my hands. I don't care.
Eyelid surgery. I just didn't know that was a thing. And so I'm done with this subject now. To be clear to America and everyone else, I was not saying that Bradley Cooper is ugly. I am saying that Mike Ryan is morally abhorrent. Zaslow, welcome back here.
Burn tips, Dan.
I don't understand what's happening with you and your bloodlines. Like, I don't believe that this is a story that's being covered enough around here or anywhere else. It seems like the Zaslow family.
Wait, there's some inventive stuff happening back here. I'm sorry. Chris is using his fried cheese as a spoon to scoop up the mac and cheese.
Yeah. It's really good.
How does your judgment get worse than that Otto Lopez question to Amin at the parade?
You don't think that's important? That the camera needs to see the fried cheese scooping the mac and cheese? Now that is worth a toast.
Zaslow, the fact that generations of Zaslows are fundamentally incapable of making a girl so that what stands before us or sits before us today is such a primitive male that he says out loud without meaning to in front of Jessica to everybody an inner thought that should have stayed on the inside. The report. Whoa, who's that? The report.
You're telling me you see somebody you don't know, you don't say, whoa, who's that?
The report. Not like that and not with a whoa in front of it. Sometimes I do ask, hey, who's that? The report. But it's not when you can hear my nether regions talking. The report. The whoa betrays you on the front end. It's not an innocent question. The report.
I just like to get to know new people. Whoa, who's that?
The report. Zaslow, your bloodlines.
It's been over 100 years, Dan, since the Zaslows have produced a female. Over 100 years. Just boy after boy after boy after boy. My father's aunt, my great aunt, is the last female Zaslow, born over 100 years ago, not alive anymore. And we had big news yesterday, or at least I found out the big news yesterday. My cousin's wife is pregnant. Great. Awesome. Another chance to, try and break this streak of over 100 years. Can we get a female Zaslow? And he told me yesterday they found out the sex. It's another boy.
Oh, man.
It's another boy. It's another boy. It's unbelievable. It's another boy.
This is great.
It's another boy.
This is like I wish I would have seen The Undertaker lose, but I kind of like having this streak.
Yep.
Is it possible that
Streak
all
continues.
that all the Zaslows just do the same position?
Well, I certainly believe that. I think there is a position that guarantees it.
No.
Okay. Yeah.
Back to Chris.
Zaslow men have
That
one
can't-
position.
that
This
can't-
is what we do.
Yep.
Do you give courses to radio producers?
I do believe.
That can't be science.
Well?
You can believe it. There's no way that's science, that there's a position that makes a boy. And
I
all the
believe it.
Zaslows have learned it.
That's right.
Definitely missionary.
I think you're a missionary, man.
It's not.
Just
and
chest to chest.
It's not, and it's
It's
ingrained.
not?
in us. It's not. And
That's
it's
a shocking
it's
development.
ingrained in us. It's ingrained in us. That's how you make a boy. We know.
It's probably something wild. Swings involved. The way that you spoke earlier, a little bit of a freak.
Over 100 years, the streak continues.
It is
Dan.
It's great.
This is not a bit.
I know
this
it's
is
crazy.
Very real.
No, it's. I don't. I. Do we know the science of this? Is it
Yeah,
possible?
I think it's reverse cowgirl.
Yeah.
Dangerous position.
Still collecting data.
Be careful.
Chair involved.
Do we know
You can break it.
if it is possible for a family lineage to be so hereditary with everything that a family scientifically cannot ensure, if it's only Zaslows at the end, friends, the human species ends. Because the Zaslows would make us go from endangered to extinct because they cannot make a woman. They'd only make other little apes who would go, whoa, who's that? If there was a woman, because there would be an Earth with no women if it was only Zaslows. The report. It's not like, is that science? Is it possible that there's a family that has a bloodline that simply can do nothing but produce men? Do you guys believe that's a thing? And that.
Is it the Amazon position? Yeah. That one's wild. That one just doesn't even make sense when you look at it for the first time. Wait, whose penis?
Mm-hmm. Done it.
No one has answered any of my questions for the last 25 minutes.
Well, you keep saying, is it possible? Of course it's possible. It's sitting next to you. I'm the possible. My family. It's a real thing. Our bloodline, for whatever reason, don't produce girls anymore.
I don't think we have time for Jeremy to actually find here what I need in terms of information if this is a scientific thing. I don't think we can do this.
I Googled what positions make boys.
Such a good-looking guy. He's like, let me make me into Ellen.
The
Whoa,
report.
who's that?
So this is many months overdue, but I am here to announce, unfortunately, that Stugotz's name is going to have to come off the show. We're going to remain a loud, vibrant, colorful thing, but our imaging has gone stale and no longer reflecting the show in its current form. So it'll be different when we return to work on Monday with the knowledge that wherever there's pain, there's always an invitation to grow. If I'm being totally honest, though, the delay in removing his name and the silence surrounding it has been because I've been desperately trying to find all the ways to prevent and avoid it. It's a costume I've been wearing for almost a year now, quietly, and it is even itchier and more uncomfortable than the New York Knicks ones I've been wearing lately. Feels about as clownish, too. This is not the correct way to say goodbye after more than 2 decades with him, so he and I will continue to try to figure out a reunion, and I remain hopeful he'll continue to be a part of what we're doing eventually, and know he'll always be welcome. But I got to admit now, we are not what we once were. Pretending otherwise is not loyalty, it's denial. While we're here, though, I would like to explain some things about where we've been, where we are, and where we're going with this truly breathtaking thing you've allowed us to build here over nearly 22 years. It's legitimately hard to fathom that we now have a national media company in the heart of my hometown, a stable media thing in the most unstable media climate of my lifetime. 100% independent, a safe creative space for people I care about to keep creating, inventing, grinding, pushing. We're somehow bigger than we've ever been after leaving the worldwide leader in sports, available in more places, reaching more people, having somehow grown from a little radio show that was once on just one AM station in Miami. We now have offices in New York where Pablo Torre and his team have now won a Pulitzer Prize that's lit a fire across every corner of this company to look hard at what we're making and make it better, this show included. All of that would have seemed almost totally impossible to me once upon a time. Totally impossible, not even a dream, but it's all so for one reason above all others. You. This is such an intimate thing we do every day, living inside your head. Some of you have been with us 10, 20 years. I do not have a lot of relationships like that in my life, but the ones that are that long, they're the most meaningful. You have a lot of entertainment options, more than ever. And I'm guessing you don't have a lot of entertainment relationships that require the investment this one does. So we're in a committed relationship, you and us, and I know that comes with expectations and responsibilities for me. But here's what I've learned about long-term commitment. The ones that last are not the ones that stay exactly the same. The moment you stop growing together is the moment you start growing apart. If we just kept doing exactly what we did from day one, you would be right to wonder if we were really paying attention to the way you care or your investment at all. The most consistent thing about our show has never been how or when or why people leave. The most consistent thing about our show is that somehow you stay, no matter the storm. We've changed studios 3 times. We've changed executive producers 4. Some of you have been with us long enough to remember a time when the producers did not speak at all. There has been upheaval all around us for more than 20 years, most of it concealed in the name of protecting the escape of the laughter. But I'd argue it's very rare to endure in something as competitive as entertainment for this long without upheaval. For those of you who want this show to feel as it always has, familiar and comfortable as your favorite chair, I get it, I understand, but I'm afraid this is where our drift begins. The single surest way, I believe, to destroy anything or anyone you care about is to stop building with them. Everything from learning to love can die without a commitment to growth. Change is uncomfortable, yes, of course, especially in a medium as intimate and foundationally familiar as this one. But change is also something kind of required in any kind of expansion. So yeah, we're going to look different on Monday because we are different. Because come what may, no matter how hard, no matter the day, the year, or the decade, different is what we're always aspiring to be.